Hello and welcome right to another Magnificent Day at the Agency. I'm your Magnanimous host, Agent Q, and with me today is Yuki.
Hi, hi, Yuki this.
And today we are going to be going over all of the new anime for winter 2026. And hopefully it's going to be starting out better here than anywhere else. It doesn't. It's only slightly because it's such a dumpster fire everywhere else. But yes, today we are going to be going over all of the new shows. That means any shows that are sequels, prequels, spin-offs will not be, or season twos, will not be followed. We are looking for shows that are the first airing from a series, or the original, or the introduction of a brand new IPs. The two exceptions we do have to this rule, which I don't believe we have any for this season, are series that are going for full reboots from their origin point. So we have done Ranma and a couple other shows like that that are complete and utter reboots from their original source material at the beginning. And other shows like Digimon or Gundam who have spin-offs that aren't connected to any part of their lore other than motif and naming conventions.
I think we do have at least one show like that this season. Actually, we've got that like Samurai Warrior show that was a reboot of the old one that used to show up on like Toonami.
Not a reboot, sequel.
Is it okay?
Yeah, a sequel from the 80s.
Alrighty then. I like the way it was advertised. I was under the impression it was a reboot.
No, it's not. They very much like to poke fun at, like, oh, the original Samurai Warriors fought them back then, and some of the like old demon generals now like to listen to like anime music from the 80s because, oh yeah, that's the only time they'd have to listen to it. So they're literally shoving old songs from the show into the new series because, yeah, they only remember it from back then.
Nice.
It's interesting. You sound a lot tinnier all of a sudden.
Oh, it's probably occasionally my microphone kind of moves on me. Is that better?
Yeah, it's just like it's such a distinct thing from what you're at before. But all right, Yuki, why don't you go over the list for us?
Sure. So this is a start of season review, which means that really what we're looking at here is giving you an idea of what the shows are and how much of them you have to watch to kind of decide for yourself whether or not this is a show for you. Um, so this is not really a rating system per se, for the most part. We are more focused on what you need to get a feel for what the show actually is. We do still have a skip category. If a show is just like so overtly terrible that we want you to save your time by not watching it, it will go in there. Or in the event sometimes that neither of us have managed to watch it, it will sometimes default into skip simply because we do not have the ability to give you a better rating. Um, 3 corresponds to you need 3 episodes to really get a feel for what's going on in this show. The so-called 3 episode rule that we see in anime. Um, Usually, this means that there's some kind of major twist or something like that in the 3rd episode, or the first 2 episodes are just kind of set up before the show really gets going. Um, Likewise, 2 means that you need 2 episodes to get a feel for the show. Often, this is because episode 1 is just like some kind of introduction or world building and doesn't really tell you much about what's actually happening. And 1 means 1 episode. You already know what's going on. The show just kind of throws you right in, and you don't need to really stick with it to be able to judge whether or not this will be something that you'll enjoy. Must watch, on the other hand, is kind of the opposite end of the spectrum from skip. This is something that we probably anticipate is going to be like an S tier show, and that you should just try it regardless and see if it'll stick for you or not.
All right. That being said, we both do have our bias. We are not programmed algorithms yet. So, with that in mind, we will go over a bit of our do and don'ts. While I tend to bounce off any kind of rom com, slice of life, or modern day slow spiel, a lot of healing anime tend to fall into this. I will, on the other hand, be your exact guy if you want your shonen action, giant robots, or technically villainous too, which somehow seems to always fall into my lap and being enjoyable.
Over on my side, I tend to kind of shy away from things that are like modern day military, sports series. Um, I tend to also kind of bounce off the yaoi shows for the most part. It's just there's nothing in it really there for me usually. Um, and let's see. On the other hand, we're both very much into like isekai and fantasy trash. Um,
We are trash goblins.
we are both trash goblins. I tend to also pick up all the kind of romance and slice of life shows. And I definitely have a weakness for like the Yuri genres a lot of the time.
But with that being said, we are going to go over all of the trailers. So we also try to make a representation of how each, well, I was going to say channel, but streaming service at this point pretty much advertise or goes over any other shows. 90% of these will be Crunchyroll. We will try to point out anything that's not Crunchyroll themed. But Yuki, what is going to be our first trailer for the day?
Our first trailer for the day is going to be Sentenced to be a Hero.
Ooh.
Oh, and we don't really have an Adult Swim section this time around. As far as I know, nothing is really heavily not safe for work or anything like that this season.
Funny enough, this is the worst.
数が多すぎる。何としてもここで食い止めろ。隊列急げ。まずいことになった。本当にまずいよ。魔王現象としてはかなりの規模だ。司令部の事前情報だと確か5000。5000？そんな数を僕たち2人で足止めするわけ？お前ふざけんな。なんで棺桶なんか盗んできた。こんなの盗むからフェアリーに食いつかれるんだ。これはまずい。女神だこのガキ。おさっとしてんじゃねえ。とにかく撃ち続けろ。死ぬまで戦おうとするな。そんなことで俺は褒めない。
合格点を差し上げます。
言わなかったら財力君怒りますよねって。ギリギリまで引きつけろ。撃て。
この偉大な力を好きなだけ称賛し、崇め立てまつることを許します。
地図の方向、指一本分くらいくじより。
このままでは囲まれます。そろそろ出番なのでは。
ああ、道を開けてくれ。盛大に頼む。
もちろん活目してごらんなさい。
勇者経理処す懲罰勇者9004対刑務記録。2025年10月から放送配信開始。彼らは世界を救う英雄か、それとも
Did that
世
say
紀の滞
starts
在
in
人か。
October?
Yeah, I think it did. It must have gotten delayed or something.
Yeah, I can kind of understand from the animation quality on this one. Yuki, have you managed to catch any of this, or have you just been leaving this one to me?
No, I'm pretty much caught up on this one actually.
Okay.
I think I might be fully caught up actually.
Yeah, I don't think the episode is the one that we. All right, but getting onto it, Sentenced to be a Hero. We have another beautiful entry in the dark fantasy genre, possibly post-apocalyptic, but you know I'm always a fan of that wizard style of fantasy.
Oh
Um,
wow, that's a deep cut these days.
That was a deep cut into the day. But yeah, we have once again a I don't want to just say gory, but yeah, it's definitely bloody at the very least. So if you are squeamish on that end, stick away from this. Other than that,
So, animation quality wise, this is probably definitely one of the higher budget shows this season. I won't say that the CG and stuff in it is flawless, but it's definitely at least like B plus, A minus. It's not quite on the level of something like Demon Slayer, but you are going to get a lot of Sakuga for your buck in this show, especially in episode 1, or it might have even been episode 0, which was like a double length episode and just kind of the real eye catch for the series. I think if we have must watches this season, this one is definitely one of them. Like you'll know what you're getting into pretty quick here, but it's definitely worth checking out for the animation quality, and you know the themes and dark setting and everything. My biggest gripe with the series is probably the creature designs, which, while they're unique, um, I don't know, they feel like really
Flesh
overly
flobby.
busy or something. Yeah, they're too amorphous and like they could use a little more clear definition.
It does feel like as the series has been progressing, that we are getting more and more of that. Everything seems to be a little bit more solid, a little bit more refined down. I'm not sure where it's going to go, but all right. Now here's the question, because I'm liking this one once again. The characters are phenomenal. The story is looking really intriguing. The animation is fairly good. Like you said, tons of Sakuga. But what episode 1 at the very least is going to be that. Do we want to kick this up to the must watch?
I would say this. My vote goes for must watch on this one. Like I said, if there is a must watch this season, this is definitely the benchmark for it.
Yep. No, I right there. It's just I know this has to be a little bit at the bias. That old Berserk love is like, oh, it's so cool. And with all the political intrigue in the backside, it's definitely giving a mild Game of Thrones to the story, which I'm always in for more lore and backstory and world building. But yep, nope, must watch. Send us to be hero. Get on it, people.
All right. Next up, we have You and I Are Polar Opposites.
行ってきます。
行ってきます。
隣の席の鈴木さん、
今日のまつげいい感じじゃない？谷君どう思う？
いつも話しかけてくるけど、自分のことを何とも思っていないからこそできる軽いノリ、そう思ってたのに、
一緒に帰ろう。
いつの間にか鈴木さんに話しかけられるのが日常になっていた。俺が他人の言動や立ち位置やランクがやたらと気になってしまうのは自分視点の基準がないからだ。
哲学？
お前せっかく買われたのにいろいろ損するぞ。
山田君にドキドキしてるのかシチュエーションにドキドキしてるのか正直わからないの。
好きになりに行ってるんかも今。
いいなピュアって感じで。
違う、関係ない。今これから目の前の人と真摯に向き合おうって思ったならそれはもうピュアじゃんね。
メガネを外してさ、ちゃんと目を合わせてよ。恋は走り出したの。
どうして日に日に欲が出て心が狭くなるんだろう。
ダメだ、もう心臓がバクバクしすぎて無理。テレビアニメ「正反対な君と僕」。
So I'm guessing you didn't really watch this one, right?
I have caught the first 2 episodes on this one, and then not for me.
Yeah. I will say that while this is technically a rom-com in the sense that it is a romance that has comedy, it's more accurate and nuanced to say, in my mind, that this show is a it is more of a gag comedy anime that has romance as a plot. The romance is very much secondary, and the primary romance is actually like worked out in like episode 1, where they just get straight to asking each other out, and that happens. It's not like a will they won't they kind of show. This is very much like exploring the humor within dating and within like the interactions with friend groups and everything. Um, but that said, it has pretty solid, fun characters in it. The animation, I love the fact that they constantly change animation styles in a way that feels very natural, and really kind of harkens back to those older school kind of comedy anime where stuff would go chibi at like just the right time for the joke to hit and things like that. Um,
Funny you're mentioning that now.
so I'd say this is a fairly solid show. You probably know what you're getting into by episode 1 or 2. After that, it just kind of gets into its paces of just like day-to-day comedy content.
Yeah, that's about where I fell off of it on. It's like, oh, it's gonna be a mild romance. No, oh, they got together. Oh, it's dating. Which I do want to give props to that. You don't see that almost ever. But yeah, no, this was not for me. Another question here: 1 or 2 episodes?
I'm thinking maybe 2 episodes, just because episode 1 is a little more focused on them getting together, whereas episode 2 kind of goes more into the comedy pace of the show.
All right, yeah, that's about what I thought. Because, like I said, that is about where I bounced off of it. But all right, 2 down, 34 more to go.
All right, next up we have In the Clear Moonlit Dusk.
俺もねえあの人かっこよくない？
どうぞ滝口よい高校1年
これもらってください。
性別女
授業い
ついたあだ名は
王子。
これ落としましたよ。確かにお姫様というよりヒーローか王子の方がしっくりくる。まあこんな見た目じゃしょうがないけど。
悪い悪い。誰もいないと思ったんだけど。大丈夫か？
This is Kyoto animation, isn't it?
何この人。
I'm not sure.
あんためちゃくちゃ美しいな。
この人やばい。
So, I'm gonna quickly spoil any plot that you didn't pick up from that. The show is basically a girl who definitely is missing her calling as a lesbian dates guy who's probably gayer than he realizes.
Yeah, that's that kind of feels like it. Which, yeah, I think about another 2 episodes into that, and it's like, this is just 2 pretty people who are kind of weird and awkward in their own dating state to figure it out. They can be weird and awkward together.
There's nothing really wrong with that. Like, that's a decent enough plot for a romance anime. If that sounds like a good time to you, go for the show. Otherwise, this is not going to probably be very enjoyable for you.
All right. And the one other thing we will take to note that I actually have to make a comment on now because it's going to be trouble. Normally, I will try to do the official title or picture that Crunchyroll will put out, or do that depending on how good the show is. Normally, there's only a couple of these, and I like to get out which they will and do not think will do good. They did it to all of them this year, and if they do that repeatedly, I will be going to actual thumbnails again because I'm having trouble spotting this one. Yuki, help me, please.
Let's see here. In the Clear Moonlit Dusk. No, that's Dark Moon. That's different.
Yeah, I know. Oh, here it is.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's really tiny text on that one.
Yep. That's what Crunchyroll wanted. This is peak committee, designed by committee, I guess, or artistic value. I don't know. There's one on here that didn't get translated, even.
I would say this is probably another 2-episode show.
Yep. All right. I'm not going to even compare these. I don't know how I would want to compare these two in ranking for which I would prefer to watch, but
I think where it is probably good to me. Like, the Polar Opposites one is a funner watch, at least.
Yep. Like, the one upsides I will say for this one, it looks like Kyoto anime. It is that pretty shoujo style with the heavy lines, the big eyes, the sparkly sparkles.
Oh yeah, it definitely looks nice. Like, they definitely had visual chops for the show.
It's just I am very much of the main girl almost feels tsundere as well, but not quite. Like I said, there's nothing for me to latch on to either of these characters with.
I mean, the male protagonist is almost the human equivalent of a big wolf, blue wolf guy, but
All right, fine.
all right. Next up, we have Tune In to the Midnight Heart.
山吹アリス山吹財閥の御曹司日本を背負う存在故に完璧を約束された男愛してると言ってくれ
愛してるよ山吹くん
情熱は月に向かって撃てスナイパー未来はどうやら君次第
私はね歌手になりたい
Hey, Dapper
私は声優志望
Weasel. That's at the beginning.
僕の夢は VTuber
どうしていなきゃ
私はアナウンサーを目指してるんだ
合図してハート
レモンちゃん
その呼び方やめろっつーの
約束しよう放送部の彼女たち全員を俺がプロまで導いてみせる
もう一度君と話したい言いたいことがあるんだ
人前で演奏しながら歌うことがどれだけ勇気がいることか知ってる？
関係ないからほっといて何かしちゃったかな私昔からこうだから
俺の残りの 1%それは君の
I'm assuming you bounced off this one.
I didn't know. I think I completely missed this one. I think I saw the thumbnail and was like, I think Yuki can take this one.
Fair enough. Yeah, so this is a show where, first off, I want to make note that I'm not sure exactly what their role is, but one of the really major VTubing agencies is listed in the credits of this show, and I'm guessing it probably is related to the fact that one of the characters is a VTuber. But I'm not exactly sure how. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if all of the female leads are voiced by VTubers. But I'm not certain on that. Anyway, that little side note aside, the girls in this are reasonably cute. And if you just like that kind of harem-y show, great. The main character is kind of insufferable in this, but I will at least give him points for not just being a blank slate self-insert pro tag. For whatever that's worth.
I'm curious.
But he's. Go ahead.
I was curious how much of the I'm looking for this one childhood friend who I never knew but I know their voice is a subplot or is a main plot.
That is the main plot, but it's treated more as a subplot. It kind of takes a backseat to each episode's a plot as a way to kind of tie everything together. And minor spoilers here, but the main character is like a super, super, super rich kid who's set to inherit the company and everything. And the reason why he's looking for this girl is not because he is desperately searching for her as a love interest. It's because in the final airing of her show, and this is something you learn in the first 2 or 3 episodes, by the way, she said that she was going to be going off the air or something like that, and I can't remember the order, but he while on the air with her said that he loved her basically, and is now trying to track down who it is. to make sure that he can destroy any recording that they have of that, to prevent future blackmail because he considers
Okay.
it that embarrassing.
Wow, this main character is just a piece of shit, isn't he?
I did say he was kind of insufferable.
Yeah. Okay then. Well, I want to bounce off this even harder though. Where is this going, Yuki?
I would say this is probably another 2-episode show because the first episode you are like just kind of barely getting introduced to the characters. It's not until episode 2 that it kind of starts to go into like the episodic approach of like each character is going to be like the primary character for the episode and get kind of focused on.
All right. What do we have loaded up next? Ooh. Kanagawa's
Next
going
up
to be
we have
on a lot of these as opening, isn't it?
probably Shibo Yugi playing death games to put food on the table.
これは正真正銘人が死ぬゲームです。私たちはこれから
I guess there's
死
no
の罠を
subtitles on
回避
it.
しつつ
This got
出口を目指さな
simuldubbed
けれ
and
ばなり
released
ませ
on
ん。
Netflix and Crunchyroll
脱出ゲーム
simultaneously.
な
How
んで
does
す
the
よね。
trailer not have a dub?
プレイヤーネームは
Or even a sub.
初めて参加し
Or,
ます。
yes.
葵です。
Weirder still, I had to get the trailer for this from Anime Select because there wasn't an official trailer from
全
Netflix
プレイヤ
or
ーの平
Crunchyroll
均
that I
でし
could
ょ
find.
それは。初心者が混ざってたらもっと死ぬと思いますよ。
They both
結
don't
構
care
待
about
った
this.
か
They
な。
don't care about it.
眠りが深くていつも遅くなるんだ。
いつも
私はこれが28回目。
これ閉じ込められちゃったんじゃ。
随分と手が込んでますね。もうってこれ以外になくて。
皆さんは先に行ってください。
大丈夫。なるべくたくさんが生きて帰れるようにサポートするよ。それじゃあ行くよ。死亡遊戯で飯を食う。
Alright, since this was in Japanese and it might have been hard to parse for people, the basic plot of this is the main character is someone who's repeatedly entering death games intentionally, in which the players are all injected with some kind of what they call the treatment, which causes all of their blood to turn into like plush stuffed animal fluff whenever it comes into contact with the air.
Perfect.
Question mark?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they clearly did this for censorship reasons and then we're like, how can we play with this concept now that we've put it in here? So like the impact that has is if you lose a limb or something like that in the game, it can be easily reattached. So as long as you don't die, you can be put back together and no harm, no foul.
Yep, which this one was name was
Shibo Yugi.
not on all right, hold on. Keep I guess the other thing I would say on my end for this would be it looks like another high-end shoujo, but man, does it have those dark undertones. Like this is a wannabe. I wouldn't even say wannabe on that one. This is a dark as they come survival horror. Okay, I definitely got this one somewhere. Where are you?
Could it be that one that's kind of in the bottom right there? No, yeah, far right. There you go. That one?
No, that's not it. Might have to. Nope, I must have missed that. Hold on, I will open up. I will get it
Okay.
really quick, everybody.
Fixes in progress. Yes, this is definitely a very pretty show. I've heard people saying how pretty the opening is, which, in my opinion, is actually the least pretty part of the show because they gave it this weird, like, low frame rate deal going on. I don't know. It kind of ruins it visually for me personally. But yes, the girls are very cute, which is actually a plot point because they are like it's not just a death game; it's a popularity contest, and it's being viewed by like hyper rich people in sort of a pseudo Hunger Games capacity, where like
Well, I would say Squid
the
Game.
more popular you are, the more likely you are to have good things happen to you versus bad things.
Yep.
Sorry, what was that?
I would say more of Squid Games.
Maybe. I haven't watched Squid Game personally, but
Okay.
it's likely that they're probably going more for that as like a cultural touchstone. But I wasn't sure if that actually had that aspect to it where like you can maybe get favorited by the crowd and have that have impacts on things.
I don't think so. And this is having a hard time getting this. So
Maybe that's why it's not on there. Maybe you tried to upload it and it wouldn't take it.
maybe, but I'm not seeing it on the list in general. So let me
Maybe
try
if you
this.
like convert it to a JPEG, it'll accept it.
I thought I had it as that's.
It says PNG currently.
Yeah, everything I loaded was a PNG. That's why I'm confused. Come on, tier. Let's no. That's why it's black. Ah.
Oh,
like
black
three-
on black. Awesome. Love it.
Sorry about that, everybody. Hey, I was better on my game, but all right. This one does have an hour special opening, so I'm going to throw that right in the one. It's going to be hard to see for a while. Hopefully, when we post this later, it'll be a little easier to spot. But it looks good. The one thing I will say I noticed right away, this is a light novel adaptation. I could feel the cuts in the plot and the jumping around from the story where they probably spent a page or two describing what was going on, when in the show it's just a panning shot. So, or the interior monologue. But if you like escape room storytelling with escape rooms with a hint of with a guaranteed death on the backside of it, definitely for you. It was he popped up a while ago. All right, anything else to add to that, Yuki? Because I flubbed around that for a
No, I
minute.
think that's enough for that one. We've been on that for a while.
All right.
Next up, we have Journal with Witch, which is one of the multiple shows these that have Witch in the title, and the one that is appropriate to have Witch in the title because it has nothing to do with the show.
There's also a
だ
couple
から
other-
や中央大阪パーキングエリアで青春中の乗車者がトラックに追突される事故が発生しました。
無給です匠朝ですお父さんもお母さんももういないポツン私は一人ポツン私はわかるよ
突然の子お持ちだ。
掃除してもいいあなたと暮らし始めてから私健康
めんどくさいって言った。
大人は君らが思うよりずっと繊細なんです。
違う国の人みたい
違う国ですか
とにかく作らない彼氏は
じゃあ彼女ならいいの。
15歳なんて無活な一言で人生を変えてしまうかもしれない君人生変わるねエポックだ日記をつけるといいかもしれないいつかそれがあなたの灯台になる今日から変な人と暮らし始めたキーボードの音たまに止まり殺すような連打深い
ため息。
あなたはもっと美しいものを受けるに値する。一緒に帰る。さようなら。寂しい。さようなら。嫌だ。寂しい。さようなら。あなたの気持ちはあなただけのもので、私だけのもの。誰にも責める権利はない。誰にも。
私はそこでたった一人で玉座に座る違う国の孤独な女王に出会ったのだ。
So you know those
This is-
old movies we used to get that were about some child or something being tugged away by some traumatic event, then being thrown on a loved one, and they both learn to open up to each other.
Oh yeah, totally in that genre.
It's like
But this is 100% like a mature show, not in the there's sex in it kind of way, but in the this is heavy, emotional, chewy, learning to deal with trauma and loss of people that you had very complicated feelings about kind of show.
Yep. Once again, another. Don't want to say slice of life, but a very modern day. We're just going to be here. You're just going to feel emotions, and we're going to kind of ask about, okay, what's dynamics life? Well, how you should treat your family. How this show very much is looking all that weird family stuff you can have, all those weird tied emotions to people that you are close to, but also at the same point don't really get along with or don't spend a lot of time with, but are still a big part of your life, and looking at what that means to you and how that affects you.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And I
And go ahead.
was going to say, I really can't say much more than that.
Yeah. It really is just about that exploring of that emotional space much more than anything else. If that sounds like it's something that appeals to you, and if you're, in the kind of place where you're looking to experience some of that and maybe find a little emotional growth of your own, like vicariously through these characters, then this is definitely a good watch for you. Um, this is probably a 2 episode again because I feel like the first episode is just kind of dealing with like what happened, and then after that, it kind of gets into like them sort of parsing through everything.
Yeah, I kind of like that too. It's like if you've ever had, sorry, if you ever had like a major loss or been at a funeral, there's a very much of, oh, I just have to unpack these feelings now. All right, they're unpacked. Oh God, now feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is there was a cute girl in the hero's party, so I tried confessing to her.
貴様らが魔王様を倒しに来た勇者どもか。
やばい。ドストライクだ。魔族になって初めて生きてる感じがしたよ。
殺す相手に名乗っても仕方ないでしょう。なぜ私だけを残したのです。
君に一目惚れしました。俺と付き合ってください。勇者パーティーに
可愛い子がいたので
告白してみた。
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that trailer.
Yeah, this is definitely just a pretty typical isekai trash plus romance series. Honestly, although the series doesn't really fall into its pacing until episode 2, this is probably a 1 episode show to determine if you really want to watch it or not.
I would say too,
It's really-
because the one thing I will point out, and mild spoilers for episode, I think 2 at this point, the whole hero slaying the Demon King gets resolved very, very early on. and becomes more
Oh
of
yeah.
no, they're just kind of know about that. There's not really massive conflicts. They're just kind of goofy. No, the cool dynamic of the demon, the support of the Demon King and the Heroes Party, kind of in love and Juliet Rome. It's like you advertised on this premise, and then you threw it in the trash. Episode 1. For a gag too, if I remember correctly.
Not entirely, but kind of.
Which, all right, how's the animation on this one, Yuki?
Oh, definitely subpar. It's definitely isekai trash level animation tier. What you expect from that, like D+, C- grade.
Yeah, it's about right there. I want to throw this in at 2 just because of that twist, because that first episode is not what the plot is going to be like. There is no reoccurring demon lord castle. That's all done. It's adventure time for some Game of Thrones-esque freaking reason.
Yeah, for sure. As I said, it really doesn't get into what the show does on a regular basis until episode 2. But honestly, if you're gonna know if you're gonna stick with the show or not by the end of episode 1.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with you there, but for just the sake of knowing what the plot is, I think this needs to be in episode 2. Or 2 episodes.
Fair enough. All right, next up we have the Darwin Instinct.
Oh.
なんで人間だけは殺して食べちゃダメなの？
ヒューマンジーのチャーリー本物だ。人間とチンパンジーのミックスなんだよな。
結構キュートじゃなかった？
Yeah, the moment the show said humanity.
ビーガンだって話だぜ。
私ルーシー、さっきは助けてくれてありがとう。私ずっと気になってたの。ヒューマンジーなのってどんな感じ？やっぱり私たちとは世界の見え方が違う？
僕も不思議に思ってる。ヒューマンなのってどんな感じ？
この爆破テロは動物解放同盟 ALA による犯行と断定しました。
素晴らしい。あの時彼女のお腹にいた胎児が今目の前にいる。
チンパンジーでもあんな動きできない。あんなことできる動物地球上に存在しないよ。
なんとかして彼を引っ張り出さないと我々 ALA の戦争に。
僕は何の代弁者でもない。ただの一匹の動物。ただのチャーリーだよ。
Before we get into the show, do you know why they named her Lucy, Agent?
Isn't that like the oldest known fossil recovered or something like that? Or
Yeah, it's like the earliest, or it was at least until pretty recently, the earliest known Australopithecus, I believe it was, skeleton. Was very famous for a very long time. I think they might have found some older ones in the last few years, but I could be wrong about that.
Yep, I only know that because there's a movie name that it's also fairly stupid. All right, did you have something else to say on that, or just a little odd fact?
Just an interesting fact that they decided to use that for the naming convention. But how much of the show did you watch, Agent?
I think I'm caught up to episode 4. I stuck with this pretty well since it was a easy dub watch for me.
I will let you take the lead on this one then, because you've definitely watched more of it than I have.
All right. So if you thought a show about a human chimpanzee hybrid was going to be serious and political while going into heavy subject matter on what it is to be human, they also fight eco-terrorist vegans. No, I'm not letting that go. That is a major plot point. It's uber terrorist vegan PETA is the antagonist of this show to a character that looked as dumb as that thing and calls himself a human Z because reasons I'm not going to explain on stream. This show needs to be stupider. It needs to lead into how ridiculous the premises is. because, dear mother of God, it tried to take itself seriously is like watching a train wreck. It's just, okay, all the human characters look very generic and adult. I don't want to say adult anime, but mature anime style.
I'll interject my one bit of insight at this point. I feel like this is what we get when they try desperately to create a show that they think will appeal to Western audiences. And yes, the show absolutely lost me at the moment that it said Humanzy.
Oh, it's like I said, the best thing it has going for this. I was able to put this on the side because of the dub, which is awful. The main character has no emotions, is the most cardboard paper line delivery. Like, he has no animations, no emotation. It's just, oh yeah, that's. Oh, should I stop them? Oh, these people are making you afraid. Should I do something about this? A little piece of me does not want to throw this into Skip because of its dub. But did you have something you wanted to say?
Oh, yeah, like I agree with what you were saying earlier, where I feel like yes, the show tried to take itself too seriously, and that ruined it. If you're going to have a plot this ridiculous, and like I'm pretty sure President Obama actually shows up in the show.
No, that's the leader of the eco-vegan terrorists.
And they just coincidentally look almost exactly like ex-President Obama?
Yes.
Sure, of course.
And I'm not going to leave
that actually only supports my point more.
And I'm not going to let the vegan thing go. They very much making a point. They're vegans. It's evil vegans. I don't know why the show's so caught up on the vegan fact. It's just evil or PETA.
Yeah, there's even the like stereotypical blonde jock guy that harasses the main character over the vegan thing.
What's
this is definitely 1 or 2 episodes, I think. Like
you know what you're getting into
first
by episode
episode,
1.
Yeah.
Like, I think more gets going in episode 2, but like I think all the major pieces were very much set up in episode 1. All right, because I could go on that show for a while, off on that, but what do we have next?
All right, next up we have the Holy Grail of Ares.
お前のこれからの人生をかけて私の復讐を成功させなさい。
スカーレット・カスティールといえば希代の悪女。
セシリアに毒を仕込んだ罪で処刑されたけど、そんな地味なことこの私がするわけないじゃないの。
つまり冤罪。
お前の役目は真犯人を見つけ出し、
そんなこと私には
必ずどこかに手がかりを残したはずよ。
鍵。これはエリスの聖杯を破壊しろ。
準備はよくてコンスタンス。楽しい宴の始まりだわ。あなたとんでもないことをしてくれたわ。
私は盗んだりなんて。
あなたなんてただの泥棒じゃない。
これは一体何の騒ぎかな。
どちらが泥棒なのかしらね。
あら、ごきげんよう。この女は誰なの。
本当に君は関係がないと言えるのか。
夫人のひまわりの誠実なだけじゃ
よく
何も解決しない。キリキキリクク、少しでも反応したらとっても悪い人だから。殺されたということ。
コンスタンス・グレイ、君の目的は何だ。
あの女は普通じゃないのよね。
正体ジョン・ドゥ伯爵の帽子の中。10年前どうしてスカーレットが処刑されたのかご存知ですか。
呪われろ貴様ら全員呪われるがいい。
Okay, I want to assume you thought this was a villainous anime.
Oh yeah. Like I did catch the first episode of it, but I figured you'd probably be covering this one.
Yep. First off, not technically a villainous anime, realistically. Wait, where did we put Cute Girl in the Heroes Party? So I tried to confess to her. I just realized we didn't actually place that one.
Oh, you were saying you wanted or 2 episodes for that one.
Yep. Oh, I already put Holy Grail of Eris in here. Okay, I'll move that around. Must tweak that by accident. My bad. Yep. So this is more of a murder. Okay, I'm going to say murder mystery, but more along the lines of, oh, there was this big dark plot to indict me, and you're kind of following the ghost of the titular character in this one, as she not only helps the main character navigate geopolitics in a medieval setting, but also tries to uncover who organized the plot that got her killed in the first place. Overall, it's very interesting on a lot of the designs and the characters they do for that, especially in a medieval thing. You expect so much of those just to be generic.
I mean, come on, the one really super generic, like chubby guy though.
Yeah, but he was like a one-off joke kind of bit there, so I'll give him that. This one though, I really do like. It's your living character is naive, young. Where the ghost is trying to help her is definitely somebody who was a top political figure who was very much in tune with the goings on in court and could navigate those very well. So seeing her kind of learn from that and do all these things is like, well, I don't like this. It feels awful. Yes, welcome to politics.
I mean, not well enough. She did get burned at the stake.
I mean, she was set out to be pretty good for a while. It's a high risk, high reward kind of states. The higher you go, but I think with this one overall, because too much you have to go into spoilers. We don't want to talk about any of the finer details. I think one episode is very much getting you what you need to know on this one. I don't remember episode 2 or 3 getting any kind of new dynamic to the show that wouldn't be just the natural progression of unraveling the mystery. But
all right. Well, in that case, moving on to the Invisible Man and his soon-to-be wife.
遠野目さん、前に食事に誘ってくれたけど、あの一回きりなのかな。私、やっぱり遠野目さんとまたデートがしたいんだ。
ヤコウさん、この後ご飯一緒にどうでしょう。
私の身だしなみって変だったりしません？
もしかして気になるやつでもいるのかい？恋愛相談なら私に任せな。
おいジャラシ、お前割とマイペースで自己中だね。あまりヤコを振り回すなよ。
ヤコウさん、ところで
今日どこか食事に行きませんか？
僕とお付き合いしてくれませんか？そういえば、二人きりの時くらいは下の名前で呼び合います。
それはちょっと照れますね。
ちょっと今頼んでいいですか？ヤコウさん。
アキ、遠野目さん。
付き合ってるの丸分かりだから好きに呼び合え。
お互い気使うし疲れるだけだよ。
今静香さんが可愛いからキスしたいなって思ったんです。
私はもっと
静香さん。
遠野目さんと一緒に浮気したい。
I'm guessing you kind of gave this one a pass.
I got 2 episodes. I've been trying a lot more, at least to give a fair shake to everything. And the cat girl did draw me in for a bit.
Well, I'll start out by saying that there are 2 shows that are heavily revolving around a blind character this season. And I'm not an expert on this, but I would say that this one is definitely handling that better by leaps and bounds than the other one is. overall, the show feels generally pretty respectful about handling the disability. And even the cat girl, who is arguably the character who's worst about that in the show, because she's, well, let's face it, pretty autistic coded. um,
The
I
sports
think
autistic coat too.
I think is still handling things quite well in the sense that when confronted with the realization that she did something insensitive, she immediately works to correct it, which is nice to see. I feel like overall, as far as I can tell, as someone who's not an expert on this feels like a reasonably good blind representation. Um, Positive blind representation.
Yeah.
That said, that piece aside, it's kind of just a cute office romance. There's not much to write home about here in terms of the animation. I'd say it's actually a little bit below par in that category. They put that nice filter over everything most of the time, but that's all it really is a filter. When it comes down to it, most of these scenes are practically slideshows. You can't really expect much movement even out of most of these characters.
Yeah, that was that in this show. It expects you to understand that it's a comedy. There's a lot of deep stuff it kind of has. It's not going to touch too much on any of it. It's here for the jokes, the cute reactions, and that's all it wants to do for the most part.
That, and I think it's pretty clear that it's trying its best to be positive about all the things that it's representing in the show.
Yep.
And that part, at least, is very nice to see.
Yep. No, it's not that. It's nothing offensive, but honestly, there wasn't much here that hooked me either.
Yeah, this is probably like a one episode show. You don't have to go very far into this to really get an idea of what you're getting into. And although the main character is a private detective, don't expect much here in terms of like mystery. Um, Even when they go into a plot that is like a mystery plot, it's going to be resolved in like 2 minutes. It's not something that the show's actually focused on.
And it does not like to bring up its modern fantasy setting too, which honestly, like I said, it's right away you can see it's a blind woman dating an invisible man. It's like, oh, that's it. I think there's a plot like that. I feel like there's an old movie where like a blind lady dates horrifically disfigured person, but finds out like they're on the
Oh
inside.
yeah, for
but
sure.
this doesn't have the no inside, but it's like no, everyone kind of accepts this. He's just an invisible man. This is just a kind of a non-issue for both characters. It's like, oh, you can't see me. I can't see anything. Bit.
But it is cute how it does kind of naturally bring them together in a sense.
Yep. But one episode, you know what you get right away, and I was just stalling because I hit an ad break real quick, but I think we can load up the next trailer.
All right, next up we have Dead Account.
Okay, Yuki, the words "Blue Exorcist" mean anything to you?
Oh, for sure. I've watched at least multiple seasons of that show.
Did you instantaneously feel Blue Exorcist vibes the second he started spewing blue fire?
Yeah, Blue Exorcist at Home definitely accurately represents this show.
Yeah, so general plot summary for this one. It's a shonen spirit exercising because Jujutsu Kaisen is also a thing, so anything that kind of apes on that's going to get auto-approved for an anime or at this point in time. Where all the power system is based around what your online personality is most like. Our main lead is a flame baiter or flame tuber, whatever the Japanese equivalent to call that. I make really offensive and shocking videos that piss people off to get high clicks. The rival is a Reddit mod. The love interest is a K-pop stalker. So Well, I should say the love interest is a Redditor mod, so he gets a giant bad hammer. The girl of the team is a stalker, so she gets a clingy goo gun. It's
Ew.
there is no better way to put that, and the gun, the gun itself makes it seem worse because it's like eldritch horror looking, like slime based, with like spikes and one giant eye in it. It's like, that's I don't know a good way to put that. What do you got for animation on this one, Yuki, if at all?
I did watch the first episode of this, and as far as a shonen goes, this is like C territory for animation. This is not something where the Sakuga is going to be a big selling point by any means. When they even attempt it, it's a little ham-fisted at best.
Yeah, this is. It sucks because we had like some really fun, stylized, if over a little extra pervy, shonen from last season and the season before that, and this is just like we've been getting so much better than this lately. I want to throw it in a skip, but this doesn't do anything horrifically bad. It's just
I would classify this as shonen trash.
yeah, that's about what it feels like, honestly. So we'll give it a shot. Try one episode. If you want more shonen to shovel into your face and you've caught up on everything going on,
Shonen shovelware.
it's about what it feels like, honestly. But... all right, what do we got next?
All right. Next up, we have Roll Over and Die.
お喜び申し上げます。英雄プラムアプリコット様、あなた様は創造神オリジン様に選ばれました。
What is that name?
オリジン様に選ばれし勇者たちです。我らに平和をもたらす勇者に武運を祈りましょう。
せー
嘘だろ。ゴミがお前ごときが魔王に勝てると思うな。ゴミ。
やださ。
その剣呪われてるんだわ。
どうせ死ぬなら。
綺麗な目。
一緒に逃げようよ。
私のご主人様になってくれるということですか。
ミルキッタ、行こう。お前ごときが魔王に勝てると思うなと勇者パーティーを追放されたので王都で気ままに暮らしたい。2026年放送開始。
All right. How much of this did you watch, Ethan?
I think I'm caught up on this one.
Oh, okay. That's almost surprising. Although it is kind of fantasy trash genre, so
Dark fantasy
that said,
trash
though,
genre.
This is a series where I think at the start of the season, I probably would have called this a one episode. But I have to give this, I think, a rare like 4 or 5 episode rating, because it's not until then that it starts to be clear that there's all this like
World
intrigue
building?
going on in the background, world building, and also the fact that the show is actually at its core a sapphic Yori romance question mark harem.
We'll see if the nun comes back.
Oh, the nun will definitely come back. It's just kind of a question of how entwined is everyone going to end up?
Yeah.
Because the demon general is definitely into the nun.
Things we say on this stream. Yeah, but once again, this starts off very much in that dark fantasy trash kind of category of, oh, I'm worthless, I couldn't do this, then finds out, but I have this special power, so I'm actually the best, which is just RPG fans. She's a cursed item build, but didn't know it until she tried a cursed item for the first time.
Which wasn't until after she was sold into slavery and put into the death pit.
Like, just straight to the bottom. I gotta only way up. The only way to go is up from there, at least. But yeah, unfortunately, I think we're gonna throw that there because this very much is one where you need to keep on it. It does get better. The plots do start mattering, and the characters don't become so one note. Like, there is obviously a lot more going on here. Whether that ends up folding into the main story or it leaves it as a backdropping will be something for the end of season stream.
Yeah, this is a show where I'm increasingly theorizing that the genericness that it gives us early on is almost like an intentional blind to throw us off of where the show's actually going and how deep it actually gets.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't want to do too much spoilers unless we'll get to that in the thing, but I've got a pretty good idea where this is going. While this isn't too original of a plot, it's not one we see too often.
All right. With that, moving on to one of our high dive shows for this season. Hell Mode, the hardcore gamer dominates in another world with garbage balancing. Is this a light novel? Who could guess?
これもぬるゲーだったな。こっちは10年をやり込みたいんだが、終わらないゲームだと？ヘルモード？後悔先に立たず、絶望があなたの前に現れます。
これはもう疑いようのない転生です。職業召喚師。一人であらゆる役割をこなす。これが魔王を超えると言われる召喚師の力なんだ。
いざ尋常に勝負。あんまりあるわね。褒めてあげるわ。剣豪の騎士団長。
このヌルゲーの時代に俺は自分だけがヘルモードって異世界に転生した。これはヌルゲーとの戦い。人生をかけてやり込みの価値を証明しろってことなんだ。ハイゲームはなめんなよ。
Man, they were eager to show off that CGI of that, weren't they?
Yep, they sure were. Those are some of the worst looking CGI monsters this season.
There's a reason she said monsters and not burst CGI.
But yeah, this show is definitely isekai trash genre. Don't expect much out of the animation here. If you're just like the kind of person that enjoys shoveling those kinds of that type of fast food into your mouth hole, then this is going to be the show for you. Otherwise, probably not so much. You get the basic plot in episode 1. I don't know, it doesn't really get going on doing much until episode 2 or 3, but I think you really only need the one episode to know if it's for you or not.
Yeah, this is a slow burn as hell show. Not much going on, but it is taking its time to build up the characters, build up how the very basic generic power system works, but also seems to really want to enforce how the world's okay, so it's a medieval class system.
Social structure?
Yeah. Works. Because that definitely feels like the part they want to hammer in of we're serfs. If you don't know if you're unfamiliar, a serf is below a citizen but better than a slave? Question mark?
Technically better than a slave.
I feel like
Only barely.
I feel like there's a famous quote of if you had to pick between the two, you should pick slavery because at least then you have value.
Yeah, frequently.
Which no comment on that personally, but it's that's showing you what their living situation is. Rags, and you have to pay this much. No, I don't care how much you make. You will pay this much, or you will get in trouble. And you are not a citizen. You don't have rights. It's that bad. But where did I through this? Hell mode. Yeah, if you want more generic, if you wanted to see what would happen for the guy who thought Dark Souls needs a hard mode, it would be like in an isekai. Here it is. I don't know why you specifically asked for that, but you have it now. Yeah, like we said, the character, the non-CGI looks okay. It's kind of dirty and basic, but that's kind of what the setting's supposed to be. And the CGI,
I don't know. Even that's not great. It's like off model most of the time. The character designs aren't great. Like even the non-CGI is like low C or even D tier.
Yep. But you want more isekai? It's not the best pickings this season, so you got that.
Honestly, it's well below par for the kind of shows that High Dive usually has. It kind of feels like they got left scraping the bottom of the barrel on this one.
Yep. Well, I think Crunchyroll is cutting costs, but being more aggressive in what they grab. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. I guess moving right along, we have the villainess is adored by the prince of the neighbor kingdom.
起きたか。
ゲームの攻略対象が目の前に。乙女ゲームラピスラズリの指輪。一番人気だった彼はそれはもうひたすらにヒロインを溺愛する。でも私はヒロインではなく悪役レイジャー。
婚約破棄を告げる。そなたを国外へ追放する。
そんなひどすぎる。
そこまでですよ。ティアラローズ城、私の妃になっていただけませんか。
ゲームのエンディングは終了したはずなのに、これからどうなるの
？I only caught the first episode of this one.
Which is bad, because this is a villainous genre, which if you're unfamiliar with the villainous genre, it's an isekai subgenre where a girl generally gets teleported to a famous Otomi villainess game, where she, instead of becoming the heroine, gets to become the villainess and twist that around to generally either being the best villainess she can be, getting along and becoming friends with the hero so that they don't get killed, or other shenanigans. This one, none of that happens. As they're going through the main plot, one of the NPCs goes massively off script and decides he likes this girl. I haven't got past episode 1 because I was so disinterested in the plot that I've been having a hard time getting up the energy to watch more.
Oh darn. Maybe I should try and make an effort to cover this one then, because it does feel like it kind of falls more into the romance than the typical villainous genre.
It does. I will try to get towards the end, but there were 2 shows that were in my wheelhouse that I just could not stomach this season. But if I had to throw this in here, I would throw this. I'm going to say 1 episode of this one because maybe there's a twist we don't know. We will come back at the end. But 1 episode because you bounced off of this. I bounced off of it. You probably just stopped because it was a villainess, didn't you?
That was definitely a big part of it. I figured you'd probably be covering it, and, I have to be careful how many shows I try to cover because I get overwhelmed sometimes even with the amount that I do pick up.
Yep, which This is technically the show I dragged you into, and I always feel bad about putting too much onto you. I will still handle this. I just need to catch up with it. But yeah, this is not looking too good. I'm throwing this one under Dead Account, but above Darwin Incident. So far, maybe I'll think about that later. But I think that's
Fair
about
enough.
it there.
All right. Next up, we have Wash It All Away.
クリーニング店なんてどこも一緒だと思ってたけど、なんとなく分かった気がする。
いらっしゃいませ。はい、金目クリーニングです。うちのお店では靴はもちろん小物なんかも真心込めてきれいにいたします。
今度カバンきれいにしてもらってもいいですか？
金目さん、金目さん、金目さん、金目さん。
私、2年より前の記憶をきれいさっぱりクリーニングしちゃったみたいで。お仕事、見学させてくれませんか？お洋服って長く大切にされると、持ち主の物語や思い出が詰まった宝物になると思うんです。だからこそ、皆さんのお洋服が宝物であり続けるようにお手伝いをしているんです。私が唯一忘れなかったことですから。これ、きれいにしてもらえますか？はい、金目にお任せください。テレビアニメ、きれいにしてもらえますか？クリーニングのこと知りたくなったら遊びに来てくださいね。
Okay, I got episode 1, and then I think I punted this over to you.
As expected. So this is I kind of want to throw it into like the healing anime category. It's quite well done for the most part. Like it's not the highest budget show ever, but it clearly looks pretty and nice when it counts. They know where to put the money that they do have. And if you're like me and you have kind of a weakness for that kind of specific vibe of like small town and like craftsmanship, like if I don't know how to explain this exactly, but I'm the kind of person where there's a romance to the art of craftsmanship and artistry. And when I see something that is really, really devoted to that, it can touch me on an emotional level because it's something we don't see much anymore. And this show really nails that a lot. It's not an exact analog, but there's parts of this that to me feel a little bit like something like Kiki's Delivery Service. So if that kind of show is appealing to you, then this is something to maybe check out. One caveat, like one thing I will mention, it does have a little bit of fan service here and there, but probably more concerning for some people is the main character's kind of love interest as a 20-something is a high school boy, from what we're seeing. So if that's bothersome to you, then you'll probably want to give this one a pass.
Yeah, I will definitely agree with that little bit there. I was really wondering what the age gap was because it's like she's running her own business. He's in high school. I mean, you could start running your own business when you're fairly young, but does it feel fairly young or new to the business? But who can say on that one?
Yeah, I get they haven't said it explicitly, I don't think, but I get
Follow
the
on
sense
Blue
that she's
Sky at
vaguely about
agentaq123.bsky.social and watch the archives at https://www.youtube.com/@agentaq123.
She inherited, but always kind of help ran. So
yeah, it's not really clear. They haven't said that explicitly so far in the show, just that it was like kind of abandoned and closed down for a long time until she suddenly moved into town 2 years ago and started like doing the laundry service there.
Cool. So, one episode of that one because I don't feel like there's too much to go into. That's kind of the problem with a lot of these vibe animes. It's like you kind of say the vibe and like, yeah, that's kind of it. Everything else is just kind of fluff at that point or story.
Yeah, you probably know if you're gonna want to watch this or not after episode 1. It definitely is kind of all about the vibe, and that. And if you're interested in learning more about the intricacies on the technical side of cleaning, the show definitely does go into that a bit too. So, if you're looking to maybe learn some new tricks to, get stains out of your clothes and stuff like that, there's some value here to this series.
Yuki, we're on an anime stream. We all know that there's enough stains on most weebs. They don't care.
Hey, some of us have cosplay outfits and things like that we definitely want to make sure we're taking proper care of.
All right, I will concede on that point. All right, what do we got next?
Next up is Kaya-chan Isn't Scary.
That's a lie.
その子の目にあなたには見えない何かが見えていたとしたらこれはお化けが見える女の子かやちゃんのお話
かやは怖くないよかやも見えるよ出らんなくなるからダメ
かやちゃんのことは先生が守らなきゃ
あの時助けていただいたモブおじさんです
本当ありがとうかや
早く帰らないと
Interesting theme seems like a little bit of a banger.
ねかや
数ヶ月前オカルト関係の仕事でヤバい家があると情報が入ってきました
In this scene, we didn't want to animate this
捜
guy's
査の末
mouth.
たどり着いたのがかや様のお家だったんですそしてあの家には何かがいる
騒がしいと思って来てみればいつまで若い気分でいるんだ
この世に凡人ではどうにもできないことがある深入りすると不幸になりますよ
いいあの家には関わっちゃダメ忠告したからね
かやの方が強いテレビアニメ「かやちゃんは怖くない」2026年放送開始
Okay, I think you said you only saw a little bit of this one, or just straight skip it?
No, I gave this one a complete skip actually.
All right, so we have another. I don't really want to say child exorcist kind of moment here, but it's one of those, child dealing with all these horrific monsters, but nobody can quite believe her. So it's like, oh, it's imaginary friends, all this stuff. This show is a interesting dark vibe. All of the monsters do have very horrific feel to them, and the little girl is as scary as little tots can be in that creepy way that media loves to portray them as. I will say, the show itself hasn't hinted at it, and I haven't got anything about it, but I'm getting major. There is going to be something about child abuse into this, something like that going on as a subplot or story, or maybe I'm just trying to feel it too much and give this show a little bit too much credit because I'm enjoying it. But it feels like there's more going on, but it very much is going to be, you see what it is after episode 1, and you know what it's going to kind of be like from then on there. There is not too much more on the plot. I will say the guy that looks like a how to put this nicely. The kind of guy you'd see driving around in a van that says free candy on the side does not appear to be a bad guy in the least. He just looks like a creep and kind of acts like one because he very much is trying to find ghosts that can be spooked by adults or things that they feel as threats.
And one question that did come to mind for me: do you think it's possible that the character is going to turn out to be like a Zashki Warashi, like the benevolent house spirits that take the form of children?
I don't think so. There's enough people interacting with the main girl. They definitely feels like she is there, she is real, and she's just a very powerful spirit medium who's just too young to fully understand what she can do, but knows she should smash these ghosts because they do bad things to people she likes. It's just she also happens to live in a house that has a ghost so powerful it scares her even.
I see.
Which also may be her mother or the ghost of her mother. That's kind of why it's more going on there that might be in that. Other than that, I think it's a bunch of side stories and sub stories so far. The first couple episodes, there hasn't been a massive ongoing narrative. It feels like they're building it in the background, but it's such a slow burn that might not pop up till the very end of the series. That being said, I would throw this about here. Episode 1, you know if you're gonna love it or hate it right away.
All right. Then next up we have Isekai Office Worker. The other world's books depend on the bean counter.
The surprise yaoi.
Yes, possibly the gayest show this season, even though one would never know by looking at it up front.
アニメ異世界の沙汰は社畜次第2026年1月放送開始
Wow, that trailer really didn't give us much, did it?
Yeah, I was gonna say that kind of sucked. Way to drop that, Crunchyroll. But yeah, this is heavy yaoi bait. This is an isekai where the main character is the tag along for what the person they were trying to summon was.
I would argue against your statement just now. This show I don't think is heavy yaoi bait. I think it's more accurate to say that this is a yaoi bait and switch.
Really?
Well, yaoi bait implies that you're advertising the yaoi qualities of the show to bait people into watching it, whereas this is a show that you have no idea that it's a yaoi until you're already watching it.
Until two naked men are in a bed together.
Yes.
But yeah, overall, this is there are other isekai like this, because this is the main character is incredibly powerful or has the super cheat ability. It's like, no, the main character has basic organizational skills of our modern world and bringing them into a fantasy world to improve the bureaucracy and thus make things actually happen in an empire that theoretically has the ability to deal with its own problems if you could get its shit together.
Yeah, so I do have kind of a particular weakness for these kinds of shows that are about like kingdom building or like building up a village or town or something like that. And this is where it starts to become apparent that like it's not that I'm repulsed by yaoi or anything like that. It's just yaoi typically is supposed to be its own reward, and it kind of does nothing for me on its own. So when it's in a show like this that I enjoy, I'm still watching this show, but
Not because
when
of the BL.
the entire show is nothing but the like when the only thing that the show is offering is supposed to be the enjoyment of the sexual tension between the two male characters, or more than two, that's when the show kind of loses me.
Overall, though, on the kingdom building side, it's not doing too much to go into that. It's just the main character trying to be an accountant and introducing systems to help, get that done, weed out corruption. While at the same time, the love interest has to constantly pull him away from work because quit working 14-hour days. You will literally pass all out and die. Which
Yeah, and quickly learning that just because they're magical doesn't mean that you can chug entire cases of Red Bull.
Okay, to be fair, in that universe, I think you can, but he can't. Okay, actually, hold on. No, wait, I was gonna say, well, how did they die? But then I was like, oh wait, no, Truck-kun, right?
No, they didn't die at all. This is the other kind of isekai.
I swear they're about to get hit by a truck.
No. So a portal opens up and starts sucking in the girl, and this guy just happens to be walking by, tries to grab her and save her, and gets sucked through the portal with her.
Alu, Yuki, and Q.
Hi, Para!
Hey,
Welcome!
Para.
Thank you for joining.
I think you're catching us about halfway through our anime recommendation list so far. But yeah, so that being said, there's a little bit of the geopolitics going on, but the problem is everything's a bit watered down because it is trying to be a kingdom building isekai with a heavy yaoi romance. Which, if you want to see once again, I think it's episode 2?
2 or 3, maybe?
It's 2. It's at least 2. It's like, I was gonna say 1 or 2, but if we both think of that, I would say 2 on that one. If you want to see 2 naked men in bed together, because the main character is extremely intolerant of all things magic in a world filled with magic, the knight captain specifically has to use his healing magic in a close and cuddly fashion to make sure he doesn't pass over and die. Honestly, their whole relationship is
has to give him a special injection.
Yeah, the whole relationship feels like it's a pet owner with one of those pets that is attracted to everything that wants to kill them at all times, and just like, no, quit that, stop, get over here, no, stop that, drop it, no energy drinks. You know what those do to you. I can't tell if your mouth's glitching out there, if you were just trying to stifle a laugh or something.
Yeah, I think it's actually kind of a sweet dynamic they have in a sense. Like the knight dude definitely is doing his best to take care of this person that has no self-preservation instinct whatsoever.
I am Corporate Joan. I must work harder for company. Must work harder. Which, I really hate those kind of people. He's the kind of guy that looks at his vacation days and is angry he has them or has to use them.
What do you mean it's mandatory?
Exactly. But all right. Well, I think 2 is pretty reasonable for this one. I'm going to throw it
Thereabouts, yeah.
Yep. Well, Journal with Witch. Oh, is that goddamn show's name, isn't it? Do you think below or above that?
Yeah, probably below Journal with Witch. I think that one, yeah. It's just it's heavy, but it has a lot of value to it, I think, for the right people. All right, next up we have You Can't Be in a Rom-Com with Your Childhood Friends. What the heck?
Yeah, I'm glad you said it. I was about to go, what?
sorry, wait. Did I accidentally get, like, the live action version of this or something?
No, hold on. Hold on. I think this is a bait and switch. Okay, is it switching between CGI sometimes, or is it?
It feels like it, but I can't say for sure. No, I think this might be a live action adaptation.
How much longer does this have?
Like 30 seconds.
Okay. Let's hold out to the end on this then.
I think, yeah,
No, we're still nothing more than childhood friends.
TV anime adaptation.
No,
why does it have no anime in it?
That was the official trailer, people. Okay.
Please hold. There has to be like a second one or something.
LULLULLUL.
Yeah, that was
That sure was a thing that just happened.
どうした座り込んで。
Okay, there's a second main trailer.
体調が優れん。
Oh, sorry. Decided to switch to a different trailer on its own.
Why did you pull up Yuri Rocks? All right, go ahead and go, Yuki.
どんなに恋の予感がしても決して進展することはない。ただの
I had to get this from an unofficial source, by the way, which is why it doesn't have any subtitles. But at least it has animation.
ねえねえ英雄お兄ちゃんナナコに勉強教えて。
まさか私が女だからって意識してんのか？せっかく進展しそうだったのに、私のバカバカ。話題作りに同じものまで買ったのに。ちょっとは私を見なさいよ。あかり。英雄のこと、本当はどう思ってるの？
いいのか？これいいのか？その先はあれだぞ。特別なあれだぞ。
英雄。英雄お兄ちゃん。
英雄ラブコメになっちゃうぞ。それでも幼馴染とはラブコメにならない。2026年1月放送開始。
I love you.
All right, better.
Yeah, this series is, I guess you could call this harem trash. It's at least a little bit self-aware of what it is and its genre. Like, the characters actively, in many cases, are intentionally performing these tropes to try to appeal to the main character who is a fan of the genre.
All right, let me say one thing about all these characters. They're all goobers. They're all giant ass goober dork nerds. Every single goddamn one of them. And they're
How far did you watch?
I'm either in episode 2 or I made it halfway through 3. I do not remember at the moment. But I will say I normally bounce off this as hard as I can in this genre. The fact that they're all just such idiotic goobers made me actually enjoy the comedy in it.
Wow. All right. A glowing review for this series from Agent. So, yeah, animation wise, this show is definitely not good. So don't try to watch it for that. But if you do want something that is just like harem junk food, then this is definitely a place you can go. I will note that this is one of those series where it feels honestly like the chemistry is stronger between the female characters than it does between any of them and the main character. So it, from that perspective, actually feels a little awkward that they're considering him the love interest. It's almost like they feel socially obligated to do so.
Yeah, like I said, it's I swear every character in this is aware of the trope they are pulling off and aware of the character they are representing at all times. It's going through their mind. Oh, how this can't actually be a rom-com. I can't be a protagonist. I'll ignore all this going on. Main girl, it's like, oh, how can I get to love him? It's like, oh, I'll try this. The tsundere. Oh, I'll just be meaner to him. I'll be more aggressive. It's like this will get through this. It's called Baka. It's I swear they're all self-aware of how much of a parody they are.
Oh yeah, 100%. They're literally using like the manga that he keeps under the bed as like a textbook to try to seduce him.
This is a one episode in all the best ways. You know exactly what you're getting way out of this one. I put this at the top right now, honestly. This is the one I enjoyed the most out of everything we have here.
Shocking. Wow.
I know, I was surprised too.
Now I will throw out there that I have had a couple of other friends of mine tell me that they just immediately hard bounced off this series. So it's definitely not for everyone. But if you want something that's like a turn off your brain, fun ride, genre trope, kind of thing, then have at it.
Yeah, once again, you take into mind that this is my least favorite genre, so saying the fact that I like it might mean it has some anti-rom-com life blood in it.
All right. Next up, we have a Gentle Noble's vacation recommendation.
どこだろうここ。私リゼルと申します。
なんで貴族がここに？
職業はなし。身分を証明するものもないので身分もなし。
おい、奥に立ち悪いのがいる。やめとけ。なんだてめえ。何がしたい？
私は全く知らないこの国に、ここにはない場所から訪れました。まるで世界の軸がずれてしまったように。
戻れんのか？
どうでしょう。もし私がいなくなって困るのなら、きっと帰る方法を見つけてくれるでしょう。
てめえは探さねえのかよ。
なのでそれまでは休暇だと思って楽しみます。
All right, I didn't really watch much of this one. I kind of like half watched one episode in the background, so I'm going to let you handle it. But before that, I just have to point out that YouTube's recommendation for me that it thought I would be interested in based solely off of the fact that I'm looking at this preview, because I'm not signed into an account, I'm not on the browser I usually use, is abstract black and white wave pattern height map footage, 3 hours topographic 4K background from a channel called Hypnorima Visuals.
Yeah, this is the dullest goddamn thing I've watched in a long ass time. And it's, hey, what if this...
Okay, so it wasn't just me. It was super boring.
What if this fantasy guy got teleported to a fantasy world? Not a magic guy teleported to another magic world. Was it a magic? I don't care. I don't care. It's, hey, what if a fantasy noble got teleported to a fantasy realm? No, that's it. Just, yeah, he's just gonna wander around and let life happen. It's like, I don't understand what the driving point behind this show is. It's just a feel-good slice of life isekai, I guess.
It felt like it was trying to appeal to the yaoi audience to me, but
Yeah,
I don't know. I didn't watch it far enough.
see that too, kind of, but it's just no, I got one episode and then skip. Like I'll go back for the end and like catch some more stuff on, but skip. Dear Mother of God, skip.
Yeah, I mean, it's hypothetically isekai trash. Technically, it's isekai. It does come from another world, right? It's just
Yeah,
not our world.
It's a fantasy guy into a fantasy world.
And still manages to be super boring.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's just nothing. There's just nothing going on here. All right, let's.
All right, next up we have Reincarnated as a Dragon Hatchling. This is the other new High Dive show for this season, and I will point out, for whatever reason, High Dive did not have their own trailer for this show. So this trailer is coming from Sao Anime? I don't know how to pronounce that. Whoops. Apparently I accidentally clicked a link there.
All right, so a little bit of a backstory I want to go on this one. Back when Overlord and Reincarnated as a Slime were first coming out, I got a massive hankering for I'm going to be a reincarnated isekai with a monster, and I picked up several
New Pokemon.
No, I wish. Several series that were all about that kind of basis. This is one of those. When I saw that this was getting in animation, my first thought was, oh wow, they're really scraping deep at this point. This is isekai. I'm reincarnated as a monster. I need to level up. I'm going to spend the majority of this time talking to my head. We've seen this with what was the one where the guy gets reincarnated?
It's So I'm a Spider, but so what at home. Like, if you want more of that and haven't been getting it, this is the show.
Oh, no, there was another one. The one he's like from a sci-fi world to a fantasy one is reincarnated as a goblin. Like they keep track of the days.
Oh.
Remonster, that was it. Remonster.
Yeah. I don't think it's quite as bad as that one. I feel like it's more akin to the So I'm a Spider show than it is to that.
It is. I just remember reading those both at the same time. This one does do some interesting things later on and does have some more plots, especially with how the main character as a monstrous dragon interacts with the world around it. Because, most of the time, people see a dragon, it's not like, oh, I wonder if this will be friendly. It's, oh dear God, that's a dragon. And the show very much does keep it that. Nobody that's like, not going too much, but most of the time when people see him, it's like, oh, dragon, that's bad. But other than that, you're in the, I need to figure out my powers to hunt monsters, to level up, to evolve, to get stronger, to level up, to evolve, to get stronger, to level up, to evolve, to get stronger. And generally, there'll be a B plot in the background going on that'll end up in a big, I don't want to say boss fight, but it really is just a boss fight at the end of the story arc. If you like that, it's not bad. probably has, I was gonna say, the best CGI monsters, but it's passable. Nothing's horrendous looking. It isn't supposed to be
It's
monstrous.
not quite as good as the CGI was in So I'm a Spider, So What? And the CGI in that wasn't the best. But yes, it's not overtly offensive.
But that being said, how much of this did you watch, Yuki?
I'm all caught up on the show. There might be like one episode that came out like yesterday that I haven't watched yet.
Okay, so do you think this is a 2-episoder or a 1-episoder?
Honestly, it's really kind of a one-episoder. You don't need much to see what kind of show this is and where it's going.
Yep, that's about what
If
I
you
thought
are
too.
going to bounce off of it, you're probably going to bounce off of it in episode 1.
Yep. One thing I could tell from the light novel that is a little spoiler from later on. At one point, it's an evolution. He grows a second head. This is a new personality.
Oh, wonderful.
It's interesting. But all right, what do we got next?
I was going to propose, since we're at the 4 o'clock mark here, that we go ahead and take our scheduled bio break and get some water.
All right, everybody. We'll be back shortly to finish up our list. Go take a break, grab a little snack, and we'll be back shortly. All right, welcome back, everybody. Hopefully, you had a nice little break. Yuki, what's our next trailer?
Next up, we have Dark Moon: The Blood Altar.
Oh, not Twilight. What?
Well, that didn't give us much.
Oh, you want to try that next one down there? Or that's the first episode. All right.
Huh.
Yeah, that's I guess we'll just get into it then. Yeah. So Yuki, did you like Twilight?
No, not even a little bit. I felt that it ruined werewolves and vampires for an entire generation.
It's still ruining them. All right. How about Vampire Night?
That was better. I watched that one and had at least some enjoyment out of it.
All right. So this is definitely right in those genres. This is a world where vampires, at least, are known to be real things, if only found out recently. It's all right. And we're following the young girl as she's decided to go to night school, literally school that takes place at nights because it fits in with her lifestyle better. And she doesn't want to draw attention to herself because she has super strength and maybe durability too. I don't know. She can basically bench press a car. It feels like. The local club of vampires. Every one of them sees her, gets instantaneously. It's like, oh, I love her. Oh, she has powers. We can all kind of be weird and crazy together. They're all. Then the local gang of werewolves kind of gets out of them. It's like, hey, you vampires, what are you doing with that normal human girl? Like, that's not. Like, we'll keep an eye on you. It's apparently like they're all high-ranking vampires. So we see lesser vampires that can't go out in the sun, which all of the pretty boy vampires can. And then I don't. This is a reverse
Important
harem.
question. When the high-ranking vampires go into the sun, do they sparkle?
I don't think so. I don't think
Okay.
so. But this is a reverse harem with vampires and werewolves and one vampire werewolf. All the pretty boys
Sure, why not?
all have baggage of some kind that we're going to get into when we get to their specific episodes. The girl probably has some destiny and some dark past that makes it so all these supernatural creatures are definitely attracted to her for reason.
I got very, very strong K-pop boy band vibes out of that.
I don't know
intro
why. I do
trailer
not know
thing.
why. It's like they're all cute, hot. Like they're the Bishojo boys kind of feel to them. Every one of them's the pretty boy that'll make the girl want to get. This is a reverse harem with vampires and werewolves. It takes place at school. No, that doesn't actually matter all that much. The vampire and werewolf thing kind of matters because one of them has telepathy and they all have like a weird power, not just like generic vampires. It's all like a superpower, although she doesn't seem to realize that makes them vampires. And I don't know if she knows where her powers come from, but I'm pretty sure she's some kind of supernatural creature, or why else would she have super strength, which she's really I don't want to say conscious about, but people really worried about people finding out because she'll think she's weird or possibly a vampire, which I feel like I don't know. I'm so worried about people who are going to find out about my super. It's like, what? It's putting its cart before the horse in a lot of things just to set up a plot that feels incredibly basic. I want to say some of the background stuff starts in episode 2, so it's easy to put on there, but this is very meh at best. The animation isn't anything to write home about. I don't. Did you watch an episode of this at all, Yuki, or did you just?
No, I gave this a complete pass.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I don't blame it. It's not awful, but if you are looking for that genre, it's still around. We get one of these shows like at least every other season. It feels like. But yeah, 2 episodes to what if you need to know this one. But yeah, if you want Shoujo Pretty Boys, Vampire Blackness, there you go. All right.
All right. Well, and then next up is Scum of the Brave. Hang on, let me take my performance-enhancing drugs real quick.
Okay, to be fair, in that scene, the fact that he was injecting on the side there was kind of how he was tricking the bad guy, so I'll give him that, but yeah. That was a weird opening on that one. But yeah, so one thing to note on this one, Crunchyroll didn't translate the name of this one. This one right here is Scum of the Brave, or whatever it is in official Japanese. There was no English version of this. I do not know why. I think even you had it listed down as some other Japanese name, not like the official English translation either.
Yeah.
Did you?
Well, I think I had like it came out as like Scum of the Braves instead of Scum of the Brave because it was like the literal translation.
Yep. Oh, yeah, whatever. But did you manage to catch any of this, Yuki?
No, I gave this one a complete skip as well.
Okay, I kind of want to count it as a shonen one, but it's a very interesting one. So the whole premise is, yeah, a drug was found that gives you magical powers. Literally, they call it magic, like an ether enhancer. Everyone gets like in base strength, speed, and like regeneration to the point where like, yeah, no, a bullet through the heart won't kill you. That's why everyone kind of goes swords and all that, and everyone has like a crazy power that's their specialty. You're kind of following what is basically a bounty hunter as he reluctantly trains and keeps track of a bunch of girls from the magical girl combat school set up to fight crime lords.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, exactly. It's a very interesting plot. The main characters are all goofy goobers, and it's fairly good. Like, the biggest strength of this show is you're not quite sure what everybody's power is, and trying to figure that out and what they can do gives you a very fun JoJo-esque combat system. Because, all right, he can regenerate from some stuff, and he has some power. Sometimes it's really obvious, like the guy who has floating swords, or the person who shoots, how was it? Who could just portal around. Generally, thugs don't know what the hell their power is, so they don't have any. thing I will say that's selling this to me the most to me right now is the main characters, who's basically can run on bullet time. The concept of he perceives everything at 10 times the speed, so he can react to it that much quicker. And you do get a lot of fun interactions. You get the magical girls who are all kind of the F's, like, you know, they want to do good. They want to be good people, but one, you have to kill. Like, there is no thing. Like, you will be doing some killing on this drug, which also makes you more violent, so you gotta watch out for that too. There's a lot going in this show, and it does do a good job of introducing everything slowly. A lot of people seem to be passing on this one. I can kind of understand why, but as far as shonen go this season, this is probably my number 2 behind Sentenced to Be a Hero. I will say this takes about 2 episodes to get going, just because episode 1 is kind of introducing the 2 main leads. What is the top episode 2? But
This season, by the way, had a lot of high-profile sequels, but kind of slim pickings when it comes to new shonen shows.
Yeah, I think a lot of them were scared off, which I can understand. There's a lot of good stuff going on, which I'm spending a lot of time watching on the background. Oh, that reminds me, Crunchyroll. If anyone from your dumbass team is watching this, why aren't any of the season 2s from last season on this season list? I didn't know Tokunawa wants to be a common writer and Digimon were still going until somebody mentioned it to me. I'm very irritated about that. But, alright.
I guess they're following the same rule we are, where it's only new shows that make that list.
No, there are things that are on season 2. They're just nothing from last season. It's like all the... I don't know. Crunchyroll fired too much staff, and now they're paying for it. In multiple ways. What do we got next?
Next up, we have an Adventurer's Daily Grind at age 29.
They avoided the big thing of this that's threw me really hard.
So this is kind of an adventure comedy, and it can be kind of charming, but I think what Agent's referring to here is the fact that there are, in fact, multiple little girls who are crushing on the main character, a 29-year-old, and the primary one there, with the blonde hair, minor plot spoilers here, but she turns out to be a succubus who will turn into an adult body at night when they are definitely, of course, sleeping together in the same bed because that's all they can afford at their crummy little inn.
Yeah.
Little girls.
Yep.
I don't like the fact that came in on my note there. Yeah, it's for some odd reason that they wanted to throw that out there. I really hate the fact that they did, because this isn't that kind of show, and it's kind of uncomfortable. Like okay, there's trash, there's all that weird stuff. You know, if it's shows, do what you want. If it's cartoons, do what you want. I don't care too much. But it's really uncomfortable in this show, especially since it's almost going for that wholesome, you know, hey, Japanese people, go have kids already. They're fun. They can be cute. We need them, please. Because this show very much gives me the feel of children are a gift, not a burden. They can be entertaining and fulfilling in your life, you 29-year-old bachelor.
In fairness, he does also have some adult love interests come in the later episodes, but if you're the kind of person who's put off by what Agent is describing, then you're going to probably want to give this show a pass.
Other than that, this isn't anything great or turning. This is kind of a trash fantasy dungeon crawler with bound
comedy slice of life, yeah.
Raising family kind of bit. You know what you're getting by episode 1 on this one, I would say.
I think that's accurate.
I'm gonna put this below Hell Mode. I enjoyed Hell Mode better than I did this one. Anything else you want to go on that one, or animation you want to say on that one? Because it felt kind of
I
mid.
mean, yeah, the animation, that's a very good way to describe it. The animation's very mid. You're not going to get any horrible CGI in it, but you're also not going to get anything particularly nice looking. It's good enough to still be kind of cute and charming at times, but it's not high tier by any means. Pretty C grade animation.
Yep. All right.
Next up, we have a misanthrope teacher. A misanthrope teaches a class for demi-humans.
森の中にある不思議な学校、私立白縫高校。ここは人外、人ならざる者が人間になることを目指して日々学ぶ場所。ここ上級クラスの担任を務める一間玲だ。29歳男、人間。
羽田とバリ、種族はモズだよ。人間になりたい理由は音楽をしたいから。宇佐美水、ウサギなの。人間になりたい理由はお世話になった人間に恩返しがしたいからなの。私の名前は水月京香ですわ。種族は人魚ですの。人間になりたい理由はダンスがしたいからですわ。大神咲です。種族は一応狼です。人間になりたい理由は中途半端な存在じゃなくなりたいからです。
そう、彼女たちは人間じゃない。けれど誰よりも人間に憧れていた。人外教室の人間未来教師、2026年1月放送開始。
Okay, I know you had
Did
some
you
pretty-
catch any of this, Agent?
I've watched quite a bit of this. I know you had some heavy feelings on it. If you would like to go ahead and take the lead on this one.
Sure. Yeah, I'm definitely going to recommend this as a 3-episode series because that's when it really starts to go into like what the show really is, which is, well, really episode 2 starts that, but I will say episode 3 was a huge emotional sucker punch for me personally, and I don't know if that'll be true for other people. But it definitely destroyed me emotionally for a good day. I don't really want to go into why. Maybe I'll talk about that more in the end of season because I don't want to give too much spoilers here. But yeah, this is a show that presents itself as being kind of a cute girls doing cute things show on the surface level, but it does kind of delve into some interesting character explorations from episode to episode, which it turns out to be kind of what the show is really about. But that said, another content warning caveat for this show. A lot of the early episodes, especially, are pretty focused on like basically teasing or flirting from the girls aimed at the teacher. So if that kind of thing makes you uncomfortable, definitely avoid this one.
Yep. That being said, it is interesting to see a main character is the teacher itself going into a class and kind of breaking down each character. This will not give you like this was today, this is tomorrow, this is the next day. There have definitely been some major like months or weeks time skips in this, and you're only seeing the girls open up or have their, I don't want to say personal problems, but emotional baggage kind of aired out, getting to know them and getting them to reasons why they want to be human, what they're actually like, and what's going on behind the scenes with each one. I have the distinct feeling this cast is going to grow, but it does stay nice and tight with only four supporting characters, with following our main character who is just kind of a blanks, not so much I don't want to say a blank slate in like projection, but he doesn't have much going on personality wise other than I'm a teacher, I'm a gamer, I'm trying to help.
Follow on Blue Sky at agenttq123.bsky.social and watch the archives at https://www.youtube.com/@agenttq123.
But yeah, he's not the deepest character in and of himself. He does feel a little bit generic.
Yep, 3 episodes. This one feels like one we're gonna have to definitely see at the end, see if it can either stick its landing or at least hold itself together to keep going, because it is.
Yeah, and this is. Go ahead.
It's doing good, but it's on some shaky ground.
Yeah. It's also a series where, again, I'm like keeping a close eye on it because it feels like it might be trying to use its sort of generic presentation of being like sort of a cute girls doing cute things show as like a blind for the kind of show it actually is. And we'll see if it keeps building on that or not.
All right, what's next?
All right, next we have The Daily Life of a Part-Time Torturer.
Ah, torture porn.
今日忙しいから悪いんだけどさっさと吐いてくれる業務内容拷問します
今日は件数多いでお前こっちやってくれ
任せてくださいよ口もケツも割れるも全部割らせてやりますよ
口だけでええ
この仕事っていいっすよね
爪剥ぎやすそうやろ
一緒にいっぱい拷問しようね
僕にやらせてください
せーのヒュー大丈夫
うまい骨の折り方教えとろ
業界一ホワイトな拷問会社よ
シフトの提出期限は守るように
俺の黒ってあります
バイトもたくさんやったけどここが一番気に入ってますよ
頑張ろう
痛くせんから
怖っ
はいはい仕事すんで
いいっす
I mean, you say torture porn, but there's really actually very little torture in the show. It really ultimately is more of like an office workspace slice of life / comedy question mark.
Yeah, this is just it's that workplace comedy, but for torture. So it wants to be funny in that aspect, but at the same point, like they show just enough of it. Or just serious stuff of it. It feels a little uncomfortable.
Unless you're into that sort of thing, in which case it probably is letting you down by not having more of that content.
Yeah, which I haven't watched too much of this one, but like I really it's like this feels like it should be kinkier than it is. At the same point, oh my god, the fuck! At the other side of that. Maybe that's just because workplace comedies are more of a Western thing, and this is trying to lean into that, but with torture, I don't know. This one just feels so weird to me.
There's definitely some office workspace comedies and stuff that have done well in the anime space too, like Working.
Yeah, how much of this have you watched, Yuki?
I think I'm more or less caught up on it.
Okay, then you might be better off on this one than I am.
Yeah, I think though probably 1 or 2 episodes is enough to get a feel for this one. Maybe 2, just because episode 1 tends to be focused more on the like whole torture element and world building, whereas episode 2 starts to go more into the actual show, which is just kind of their day-to-day life and how we're actually torturers makes things just a little awkward because now we've got to go to the torture implement store.
Just a hardware.
All right. Well, next up we've got Yorai Shinden Samurai Troopers, also known as...
No, we can skip that one. Remember, this is a direct sequel.
Oh, okay. It was still on the list, so I left it on there. But for those who aren't in the know, it is a sequel to what in the West was known as Ronin Warriors that used to air on Toonami.
Yeah, but all right.
So instead, next up we have Jack of All Trades, Party of None.
Yay.
あんたみたいなやつをなんて言うかわかる？器用、貧乏よ。
すでにオルンの代わりの付与術師は見つけている。悪いが
Hey, look, Agent, it's the kind of show you hate.
心配するほど腕は鈍っていないのかもしれない。
Hey, at least
こ
they're
れな
not
らま
going
だ
with the
剣士でもやっていけそう
healer
だ。
of the tank.
大丈夫。
Well, it's still the support, which is the closest they have to
あ
a
さってから
healer.
うちのクランで行う共同探索に同行してほしい。
みんなを担当することになったオルンが3日間よろしく頼む。
よろしくお願いします。
やらない切りつけながら飛び越えろ。どうが
Yeah, the monsters in this are not very good
あいつ
looking.
の動きを止めろ。新人たちは怖いかもしれないがじっとしていてくれ。絶対に守るから。行くぞ。みんなを守るために必要なのは目の前の理不尽を跳ねのけること。
Okay.
PlayStation 3 wants its monster models back.
Yep. All right. As Yuki was saying, this is another show in that genre of, oh, we don't think your clash is very good, so we don't care about you. Please leave the party. The one bonus I will give to this is they don't think that his class isn't very good. They just think they can get a better version of him, since he is a jack of all trades and not a dedicated support character. But surprise, the jack of all trades is actually incredibly powerful, even stronger than the hero's party combined.
And of course, it turns out that the hero's party is basically useless without him.
Yep. This is a show we have seen a dozen times. This one kind of speed runs him getting picked up by a new party, but I feel like a lot of the newer ones have been doing that to begin with, just because everybody is getting so familiar with this genre. The bonuses I will say to this is they're putting him in a... No, we've had the mentor role already, too. I can't really give a plus to that. This is just kind of mid-fantasy sort of slop again.
Yep.
But
honestly, I don't think you need more than one episode for this one.
Yeah. I like it better than Daily Grind.
I would personally put Daily Grind above it, but if we're splitting the difference, not a huge deal either way.
Yeah, I'm not. I'll switch that up. It's not mattering that much to me. Just it's the number 50 of support isekai. Not even trash fantasy. Whatever the. I am trouble. I have trouble working up any more enthusiasm than that.
Yep. The best I can say about it is it's the kind of show that doesn't matter enough to me to need to pay attention to it, so I can put it on in the background while I'm doing other things.
Yep. All right, what do we got?
Next up is Temon's B-side.
俺の歌で抱いてやるよ。覚悟はいいな。全国のガールフレンズ。
A show almost custom made for Karo.
I think
I've commented on that in the Discord.
世界中の人を笑顔にしたいです。
推しを押すには金がいる。条件の良さにつられて始めた家事代行バイトはすっかり板についた。本当に同一人物。恐ろしく顔色悪いけど日々網膜に焼き付いている顔面を見間違うはずなどなく。これは
本来なら応援される価値もないんで、あんな偽物。
は？偽？
この人がタモンくん。
タモンくん今どっち？
たとえ本人でもアンチには屈しません。いや、何これ。
Yeah, I only watched about one episode of this one myself. I'm not sure where you were at on it.
I think I got to 3. it started kind of blending together for a while on me. It's yeah, what if a super J-pop, K-pop, pop show fangirl got a job where she had to take care of her idol, but her idol was secretly a antisocial mess of a person who's only held together by being able to put up a front and his manager. I think it's to the point where he has other people cooking for him because of how unable he is to do anything by himself. It's
Well, I mean, there's definitely a lot of neurodivergent coding going on for this main character.
Yep, I will
Like
say.
they clearly have severe executive function issues.
Yep, we'll not argue on that side. The only other thing I really want to say, other than this being kind of a mild reverse harem, which I feel like it's building into as it goes on, it's not bad. It's more of, once again, it's a rom-com with a pop idol group in the background, or it's a pop idol group in the background with an Uber fan kind of getting to know the group and all that stuff, which we'll see how that goes. I'll probably have to say more later on the B-side, or at the B-side, at the end of stream review. But this is you know what you're getting into by episode 1. If that looked appealing to you, you know what you like. If not, there's nothing. It's exactly what it says on the can.
Okay. Well, next up we have Cosmic Princess Kaguya. This is a Netflix release, and I don't know actually if this is out yet or not. I never got around to taking a look
this
if
is
Netflix had actually released its stuff or not.
This is a movie, actually. It's not a show.
Oh, in that case, it doesn't need to be on the list.
Yep, I did make a comment on that on our official list. So, all right. Next one.
Moving right along then to Noble Reincarnation, Born Blessed, so obtain ultimate power.
俺は新たなる命を授かり貴族に転生した部下を増やせば俺自身も強くなれるってわけだ多くの民の幸せのために動くべきだそれが貴族の俺の特権だ俺に従えレビアタン
あの狂犬を屈服させるとは思った以上に使えそうだなただただすごい脱帽だ見事世が与える試練を乗り越えてみせよ
私ご主人様のお役に立ちたくてお仕えできているだけで幸せなんです
シャーリー・グラン親王殿下に生涯変わらぬ忠誠を誓います
本物の宝とは人間だ
その力を人々のために使ってみせろ
貴族転生恵まれた生まれから最強の力を得る放送開始
Okay, this is definitely overpowered kid gets isekai to royal family and go from there with uber powers and knowledge and all this other stuff. The only thing I really want to say,
about as generic as it gets at this point.
Yeah, the only thing I want to say is in the opening, some of the stuff they're hinting at here, I smell mecha. I don't know if they'll pop up at only at the end of the season because they're not there yet, but I have the distinct feeling they're going to be giant robots in this one.
And we love giant robots. Chicks dig giant robots.
Oh, thank you, Yuki. So the fact that gets brought up always makes me happy. Other than that though, this doesn't have any outrageously bad CGI from what I can remember it. The entire plot is contrived as hell. The main character has a harem of maids and one sexy knight who dresses really revealingly because it's her family's armor or some
heirloom armor. Yeah.
It's nothing awful. Like, this is the McDonald's run isekai that we kind of love here. You got anything else
Probably
to
the
say?
one kind of interesting thing it has going for it that doesn't even really matter that much is the fact that he gets direct power increases off of his subordinates, which is kind of a cool twist, but they don't do much with it.
I rule a kingdom. My province has a lot of really good people in it. I'm really strong because of that. Yay!
Yeah, he doesn't really have to work to become super powerful off the bat, so any additional power he gets off of that is kind of meaningless.
Yeah, what was it? By the age of 6, he was beating swordmasters.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you want your standard isekai power fantasy? Not. I would say it's probably the best basic showing we have right now.
I don't know about that, but it certainly is, your very McDonald's isekai trash.
All right, what do we got next?
All right, next up we've got. Oops, I pressed the wrong button first. Kunon the Sorcerer Can See. This is the other blind person show this season that does a much worse job with it.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. When you said that at the beginning, I was trying to figure out which one was the other blind show, and the fact that I couldn't remember the one with in the title goes to show him something about this.
そうか作ればいいんだ魔術を使って目を作るんだ2ついいぞクノン様学校に行くんですかお久しぶりですミリカ殿下やるんだ絶対に派手にやりましょう
これは何かなクノン様にわかるかな
給料減らせよ言っておくね
すいません調子に乗りました
Well, that was a trailer.
This show is. It's more fantasy trash. It's not very good, and it's very insensitive at times.
Yeah, like I was saying before, it's when you was bringing up, there was 2 shows with blind protagonists. I forgot about this one. It's in the goddamn name, and I forgot about it.
I'm honestly tempted to give this one a skip just based off of the combination of low quality and the potential for it to be actively offensive to people.
I mean, this kind of has the same problem as a gentle reincarnate, whatever the fuck the other garbage is. This is, besides being dull, slow paced, and I don't know, what's the animation like, Yuki?
Not good. It's like D tier, low C tier at best.
And
there's definitely not going to be any Sakuga or anything like that.
They're waiting to use it, but no, this is...
It's mostly a slideshow.
This is very dull. The protagonist doesn't really have anything he's kind of up against. It's not an isekai really, so he's not that OP, but it's very much of, I think it was by the age of 10, his tutors were panicking because they couldn't find anything to teach him anymore because he was so good. He was inventing new things. It's not. There's no plot to it either. He's just, rich, noble, blind guy is really good at magic.
Well, once he got over the clinical depression that was a result of him being blind and everyone, bullying him about it, things started going really good for him.
Yeah. That's like I said, it's just there's nothing. I forgot about that part. I actually forgot about that. Like you're telling me stuff about this show, and like, oh yeah, that was the thing. Oh yeah, that was the thing. It's like, no, this is. I feel much better about putting it in skip now.
Yeah.
All right. Tell me we got something.
And next up is Hanakimi.
I hope you watch this one.
Not really, to be honest. I watched like maybe 1 or 2 episodes of it.
大阪学園一の俊足、1年にしてフォワード、サッカー部の燃える若獅子とは俺のこっちゃ。
今度あんなふざけた真似しやがったら承知しねえからな。ほらボケっとしてんなよ。行くぞ。
転入生の芦屋瑞希です。すみません、飛行機が遅れてしまいました。本当にごめんなさい。
花盛りの君たちへ。
Alright, so the thing with this show is this is a case where the manga for this basically defined this entire genre, but it's only now getting an anime adaptation like 20 years later, after everything else has already like made all of its tropes that it introduced tired and old and boring.
Oh damn! So that was my comment of this feels like we have was it Oregon Host Club at Home? Like, is that like the spinoff to this then?
My understanding is this predated Orin High School Host Club even, and maybe it might even have been by the same artist or something. I'm not totally sure. But yeah, this was like the OG for this genre that everything else spun off from. From what I've been told and what I've seen. I can't say that I'm, that's not firsthand knowledge. I wasn't a fan of this when it came out or anything. But that's the biggest problem this show has is while there's kind of the cool nostalgia to getting a show like this in this day and age where like you've got these older styles and everything, at the same time it's just like, man, all of this has been done so to death and it's not like it's playing it all so straight because it was the one that came up with these things, so it can't subvert them because it defined the genre.
Ooh. All right then. So what was actually, just to be fair to anyone who isn't an old taku like us, what is this genre? What would you call this, or what is the plot here?
The basic plot here is like girl pretends to be a boy in an all boys school and develops reverse harem. It's very much like Orin High School Host Club and Fruits Basket. So if you're into those kinds of things, you might be into this. But at the same time, it established the tropes that those use. So if you're into those, this might also seem kind of tired and boring to you because everything else has already been iterating on this thing's formula for so long that so many things have done what it does better at this point. And the only way that it can really that a show can really survive that is by being like self-aware and subverting, which it's unable to do because it is the source material.
Yep. Okay. So where are we throwing this one then? Is this?
I feel like episode 1 probably gives you what you need to decide if you're gonna want to watch this show or not.
All right. How high up are we throwing this? Or I don't feel like it's bad. It's just tired.
Yeah, maybe like right above Jack of all trades. Technically, like it was not my thing, but I think if we're looking at it from an objective standpoint, that's probably where it belongs.
Okay. We're entering our home stretch now, everybody. What's our next windup?
Next we have Love Through a Prism, but I'm not sure if that's one that we're actually supposed to have either. That was another Netflix show.
Yeah, that dropped everything all at once, so I don't think that was a thing we're going to cover here because that's 20 episodes in at this point.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and kick that off then. So then instead we have The Demon King's Daughter is Too Kind.
魔族たちを暴力と権力で従えようとする者魔王アーリマンその欲望は彼を魔界統一へと走らせたが魔王はある悩みを抱えその侵略をやめてしまうその悩みとは魔王アーリマンの一人娘ドゥが優しすぎることだった
どういうことですかなぜ突然軍を引き世界侵略を止めるのですか
ドゥが我が娘が優しすぎるのだ
ドゥ様が優しすぎるなんでしれっと手伝ってるんですかドゥ様じゃあ次はドゥが鬼かくれんぼなんかやってませんドゥはみんなを助ける魔族になりたい
すごいぞドゥ
どうしてそうなるんですか
Once again, this screams, go have kids, you damn Japanese people. Anime.
Oh, I think I might have forgotten to actually turn the trailer on my side for that one. Oh well. It'll get cut off in the post-production anyway.
Yep. Other than that, this is a cutesy fantasy. I'm not gonna say rom-com. It's comedy.
Yeah, like maybe quasi-healing anime, but mostly it's just like a cute tiny little girl doing cute tiny little girl things and having cute tiny little girl adventures with cute tiny little girl theme songs.
And she's also the demon princess lord, and there's more going on around her, but it doesn't really matter. This is cute demon girl doing cute little demon girl things, and
she is very adorable, and like it's pretty successful at what it does. Like it definitely makes you
oh, she's cute.
yeah.
That's about.
She's very endearing as a character.
Animation is okay. Nothing. The problem is you can only say mid so many times. Most on that, yeah. All right.
All right. Next up is I will probably butcher this pronunciation. Champignon Witch.
That's better than I would probably do for it.
魔女様はどれくらい重ねてきたのだろう。こんな風に悲しみと静かに横たわる日々をどれぐらい過ごしてきたんだろう。
お土産見せて。多分まだ本だにゃ。仕方ないよ。車じゃお断りのお店ばっかなんだから。
あのバカ何やってんだあいつ
なんでだろう。彼女が急に可愛い優しい女の子に思えて。
あの人の力になりたい。せめてひとかけらの幸せになりたい。一生誰とも寄り添って生きることはできない。でもこの出会いが黒魔女として歩いていく次なる運命の道しるべに思えて。テレビアニメ「シャンピニオンの魔女」。
Okay, this is definitely a not Ghibli style anime. That being said, most of the time when they put this much effort and work into how the world looks and kind of operates, you can generally expect a high quality with it. This so far has kind of been up there. The only major drawbacks I've had with it so far are the main character doesn't actually talk much. It's kind of a bit of narration and storybook visuals guiding what's happening, which, man, I love the show don't tell please, but it is a bit meandering, especially at the start here.
Yeah. It definitely it has that very strong storybook vibe to it, and that's a vibe we don't get very often, which makes it feel a little unique and stand out a little bit. Um, it's definitely not high budget or anything, um, but it does seem cute, you know.
No, cute, fun. I will say there is a bit more going on with the story. You don't just see like, oh, she can solve all of her. It's like, no, she very much screws up early on in her life or in the show itself. And as it progresses, we get to see a bit more opening why she's so shy and reclusive, why she's the witch of whatever thing it is, because every witch, wizard, warlock, or whatever you want to call them in this, have a specific theme. She is the they say champagne, or they say mushroom witch, but it's really the champagnon witch, which I'm guessing is also a word for mushroom or something like that in France.
It's like a type of mushroom, I think.
Yep. Overall, like I said, this is going to live or die on what its story goes into right now. A little PSP wants to throw us into 3 because of how much happens at that point, but I feel like you get the vibes of what this show is going to be like right from episode 1.
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate.
I'll probably throw this at the top of episode 1 just because of the quality we are seeing on this one. But like I said, it's right there with like Little King story. If that would have flopped its ending, I wouldn't have liked it, but it managed to land such a masterstroke storytelling. And this one feels like it's right there. There feels like there's a lot more going on as we slowly learn about the world. And it's not just info dumping proper nouns at us. It's very easy to understand and very straightforward with most of what's going on. Anything else on that one, Yuki?
Yeah, I think if you are a fan of those kind of more, not necessarily the animation quality that Ghibli has, but of that kind of style of or vibe of show, then this will probably be attractive for you.
All right.
Next up, we've got The Casebook of Arn.
世の中には2種類の人間がいる。
よく調査し分析しているな。
私はアルネ探偵事務所助手リン・ライン・バイスと言います。私たちと手を組みませんか？連続殺人犯を早く確実に捕まえるために。
ルイス君、父さんの敵を撃つんだ。
俺がこの手で犯人を捕まえる。
所詮はその程度ということだ。決めるのはお前だ。
テレビアニメ「アルネの事件簿」2026年1月放送開始。
Okay, I will say that the opening for this kind of throws off what the series is about, and the opening scenes of this throw off what the series is about, and then the opening kicks in, and it becomes a monster detective kind of comedy go lucky thing. But it's also a very dark medieval fantasy monster detective story, which oh, are you about to say something?
No. I was just like shifting around as I turned on a light in my room because it's getting dark.
Yeah. overall, like I said, I'm not. The problem is it's an anthology mystery, so the first one was okay. The later ones have been okay. If it manages to get an ongoing plot and then drop it more heavily, I will be more worried or more invested in it. But it's kind of in that anthology mode right now, and those are case by case and are really hard to judge until you get to the end of the series.
Yeah, that's fair. I know you had the kind of concern too early on that it sort of undermined all of the
Tension it
the
was building up.
tension that it was trying to build. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's very much of, oh, this is dark, this is gritty. And then its opening is goddamn. I think it was a pop song. Like, I need to go back and check that, but it was some upbeat, goofy thing, and I was just like, no, we just saw a child declare he was going to find his father's killer and solve this murder mystery. This is a bit of total whiplash here, guys.
Yeah, dissonance, right?
Yeah. That being said, once again, this is a one episode. I'm not gonna say it's bad. It's just that whiplash hit me pretty hard. I'm gonna put it below Holy Grail on that. Anything would you like to say on this one, or have you just not been able to catch too much of this one yourself?
No, I really only caught like the first episode of that one, so I don't have a ton to contribute there. Animation wise, it was maybe like C plus ish, I think, if I remember right. Nothing too amazing, but not awful.
Yep. All right. Let's move on. We are in our final 3, I believe, unless there's something I missed.
Next up, we've got Oedo Fire Slayer: The Legend of Phoenix.
Ah.
This is one where I had to actually dig pretty deep to find a trailer for it.
If you haven't seen the trailer yet, you will understand why.
炎の前では人は無力だ。どんな剣豪も火を切ることはできない。来たぞ、低い鳥だ。怖いか。あれが低い鳥。人命以上に優先するものなどね。火消しという生き方を知りたいと思って。
Yeah, I'm immediately bouncing off of this full CGI.
今江戸中を進化させている極悪火付け人の仕業。お頭、火事です。危ない。惚れた女を守るのに訳はいらねえよな。私は父と同じ道を歩むつもりはありません。火消し遊びなど所詮はよそごと。この時私は初めて気づいた。江戸には火が切れる侍もいることを。食ってやる。
All right, yeah, because I don't believe you caught any of this, so this should be purely on me, correct?
Oh, for sure. I didn't even know that this was actually a thing that was available until I was setting up for the stream.
Yep.
I thought that this one hadn't been translated.
Nope, this is a Crunchyroll one. Okay, so the upsides to this, before I'm going to tear into some stuff, this is a historical Japanese anime. I'm guessing somewhere around the Edo period or somewhere in that. It's like I can't tell you. I do not know enough about Japanese history to give that comfortably. But where a lot of those so far for the last couple seasons have just been, I don't know enough. I'm not familiar enough with how this world works around how this country works in this time period to understand why they're doing any of this. This show is all about the firefighters from that era, and it very much takes its time to explain how they did everything, what their principles are, how they fight fires without, hoses, access to massive amounts of water, all this. And in a city area where everything is made from easily flammable wood, I should say easily, but flammable wood, fires are a very big
Often
deal.
straw and stuff too.
Yeah, fires are a incredible deal, and this show has taken its time to walk us through it, kind of go through each role of what each new member of the team is introduced. The captain will explain why we need this kind of person, why they need to have this skill set, and how that helps them do what they do. I know in the opening there, it looks like there's some mystic stuff going on, but so far, none of that's been a thing. That looks like it was purely for stylization. All of the characters so far have been fun. It's like you kind of got to see what they dig in, what they kind of motivates them, why they do what they do, what has their drive been, and it's been fun on that side. I'll definitely like that. Now the downside is everything's CGI. CGI fire, CGI characters, CGI Komodo, CGI. And it's not the worst, but if you've seen the full CGI shows before, you know they're not good looking. I think the one that I always go back to is Knights of Syndonia, and everybody looks off. Anime is not a good pure translation to CGI. It very rarely works. It's especially when
It takes a lot of skill and technical stuff to make it look any kind of good, much less actually good.
And I'm guessing they wanted to do this because they wanted to do the animation of what it takes to fight the fires, or showing them what they have to do with the fires and all that. And it's not good. It's like, if you're like Yuki, you see that and it's like, ugh. I don't know. On the other hand, if you're like me and you can go back and watch Beast Wars, A-OK, it's not bad. Overall, this is a one episode. You know exactly what you're getting into. I think more of the characters are introduced. You get some more of the team building, episode 2 and 3. But episode 1, you know exactly what the show is going to be like.
All right. Well, next up we have High School Kimengumi, which, as I understand, is a full reboot.
Yep, I was looking into that myself, double checking it, and it is a full reboot.
This was another one that didn't have a Crunchyroll trailer, even though it's clearly a Crunchy show.
Nope, this is a Prime show.
Oh, Prime? Well, either way, this trailer comes to us from a channel with 453 subscribers.
おちょぼ口の大こと物欲したい我々5人泣くも笑ってほしい姉記念組記念組以外にも変なグループがたくさんいるのよ番組を呼び出す俺たち腕組みを止めてみな骨組みここに見参3年色男組っさ今日はてねなれない
なんか一緒にいたら楽しい思い出が作れそうな気がするんだ
僕たちそこからあぶれちゃっていじけて目立たないようにしてきたんだリーダーに会うまでは
母性を隠さず磨いて堂々とさらけ出してやればいいのだ
迷惑をかけん限りは好きなようにやれ
人と同じじゃろうだってしてやがることか我々は世の中の白山となるより調味料になろうではないか姫フラッシュ
Alright, well, thank you to A. Ronin for posting this trailer that I couldn't find anywhere else.
Yep. All right, so the first thing I want to figure out if you want to like this show, do you like drugs? Do you like getting just absolutely blitzed and then staring at paint dry because it is the most entertaining thing in the world because of how crazy doped up you are? Would you like to experience that without drugs? Well, Japan has the answer for you, and this is one of those shows. This is Japanium at its finest. This is that off-the-wall, bonkers insanity of, no, we're not going to explain anything that just happened. Yes, he did just throw, yes, the main character just did throw out 20 different naked clones of himself. They're all doing havoc around now. Yes, he really did do that. Everyone is reacting to that. No, we are not explaining anything. Just accept it and move on. The show that first springs to mind as I was watching this was Bo. And I was kind of all here for all of that. It's like, if there could be a plot, they're going to say, fuck it, and you're going to, after you understand what it is, and completely go against the grain whatsoever. They're in high school. Well, okay, technically they're in middle school. But they go to high school. Then the main character decides he wanted to be in middle school, but realizes he's supposed to be in high school. So he asks the middle school teacher if this could be a high school instead. The teacher proceeds to throw him out the window. No, they are not on the ground level.
This kind of also feels like it's low-key the precursor to the kind of series that like Nichijou and stuff like that falls under.
Nichijou managed to balance that comedy in a more, I don't want to say serious manner, but drier manner. This is, I decided to stuff a bunch of Mentos in my mouth and chug a 2-liter of Coke. Can you do it? Yeah. Should you do it? No. Don't ever do that, people. You are a human. That will bring pain. That will bring much pain and regret and pain.
Suffering.
Although it might be good for YouTube clicks, so maybe you might want to try that. Okay, let's see here. This is one episode. If you put this on in the first 10 minutes, you don't understand exactly what this show is about. How? I legit would want to know how. This is very much there. The character designs are from, if not the 80s, they're parodying the 60s, if not from the 60s itself. Well, yeah, Amazon Prime. Thank you for the we have this in the Darwin incident. Okay, Prime. What the like? I'm just now realizing that, and it's like, man, it's I feel like I know what they were going for, but I feel like one of these missed the mark somehow. All right, I believe I have one more on my list that we haven't seen.
Yep. So our final anime for the day is Easygoing Territory Defense by the Optimistic Lord.
はじめまして、新たな領主となります。バンネイ・フェルティオです。
バン様は8歳にして領主を任された才人であり、幼少期より神童として知られており、バン
様の素晴らしさはいくらでも語ることができます。これはバン様との絆なので、僕の適性は生産系魔術なので、戦闘力には期待しないでください。やさぐれるぞ。
私は私で、よそはよそなのよ。
すごいな、パンダの8歳でそこまで考えられるのか。
バン様の魔術適性は何なのでしょうか。
生産系の魔術適性です。最も不遇な魔術と言われています。
バン様ほど民の目線に立てる方はいないでしょう。
今はバン様の指揮に従ってみたいと思っている。私はバン様を信じる。
お気楽極楽楽楽リラックス深呼吸。お気楽極楽楽楽リラックス。よいしょ。休み休みヒューウェイター。
I want to say I was certain seasons when they have a theme. I like to make thumbnails. The one I was really debating on for this season was his derpy ass face in the opening song. It's he has that open mouth, fist up, and no lights are on, but nobody's home. Kind of look in his eyes, and dear God, is it just? It's dumb. Overall, though, I think this show is this is an isekai, right? Is it going? I'm 80% sure it's an isekai. But everyone, it's also one of those. Power is worthless, so we're gonna send you off because nobody likes you, and it's.
I think actually this was I can't believe it's not. No, I think you might be right because he does know a lot about what what the components of things are and stuff like that. I think that's where that comes into play.
I don't think I think that's why he makes certain stuff the way he does, like do mechanical things. Which, yes, it's the way it applies is the main character's power is production magic, which nobody likes. Which, okay, one thing I will say that the show does bother to explain is most of the time people with production magic, it takes a long time for them to make very simple things. The main character can make a fortress wall in a day. He can make an entire village in a day. It all sticks. It's not hard for him. It's a bit tiring, but he can do it. Other than that, this is Isekai Fantasy Trash number 8 with fantasy, kicked from the hero's party subplot also worked into it. And they even had to open with him getting a slave. I'll free the slave because I'm a nice guy. And it's like, a little piece of me wants.
Yeah, that sure was a thing that happened. And then the slave, of course, decided that they still wanted to hang around and essentially be a slave.
Yeah. I wanted to put this one at 2 because
I am on board with this being like a 2 episode just because he doesn't actually get around to starting to build anything until episode 2.
Yeah, although I don't want to put this too high.
Yeah, you probably know what you're getting into vaguely by episode 1, but
episode 2 gives you a
yeah,
little bit more of the straight plot.
I definitely feel like it's way better than a few of the other shows we've had this season, like Kunon and yeah, it does a better job of being its kind of show than the Bean Counter one does and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
It's probably the best example of its genre this season, which has a surprising amount of saturation. But it's still not more than isekai trash town building, which works great for me, maybe not for everybody.
Yep. But all right. That's going to be it for the night, everybody. We have our final rankings. If there was anything we missed, please let us know what show we were supposed to get and where it's at if we missed it, because it is a little hard for us to find everything every season because they don't like to share it, or if it's not a goddamn Crunchyroll show, it's very hard to tell of what was a new show that just came out.
Oh, and do keep in mind, we only cover things that do have an official US license. So if it's something we didn't cover, but it's like JP only or something, we're not going to, sorry.
Yep. Which, all right, Yuki, I believe you get to kick us off this time. Where would you like to send us?
Let me see who we've got around. Oh, wow, I've got actually quite a few people on this time. Why don't we... Let's see. Why don't we raid Arya on Edge, because they raided me last time.
You will have to send that name to me.
Will do.
All right, everybody. I will be back this Tuesday with more Suikoden 3. I believe we'll finishing up our second character's first chapter and be moving on to the third protagonist chapter. Yuki, when will they find you next?
I will probably be back at least briefly tomorrow. I think I'll probably be taking the rest of tonight off. Yeah. I don't know what I'll be playing yet. It's a mystery.
All right, everybody, you have a good night, and we will catch you around next time. Later.
Good night, everybody. Matinu.